Ladies and gents, welcome to the second quarterfinal of Titans League Season 2. We have some big names here, some names that are very familiar with each other, and we have some games, and we've got some lames. Jordan coming forward with the Mayans, looking to take all the resources he can from Viper, and he's found Viper's base right away here, T-West. Viper's playing as the Chinese, and we've seen this matchup many times before, but the Chinese do have a weakness, and it's if they lose out on some food here with their start.
And that's exactly what happened. And not only that, but the eagle sees the deer. So if Viper wants to start pushing them in, like the Chinese often want to do early on, that eagle can be harassing that scout the entire Dark Age.
Yep. Yeah, I think the optimal start of 25 seconds of TC idle time might not necessarily be there for the Viper, but there is no way Jordan will have the confidence to steal this boar. I think if he tries it, seeing Viper scout around, he's not going to have the best of times. But I like the start here from Jordan, and I wanted to spend a little bit more time talking about the players. So I suppose we're just going to have to do it as we watch the lames. But, like, there is occasionally a tentativeness with Jordan, and it's just his style. He isn't the most aggressive player ever. He's has good economy and good build-up throughout the rest of the game. But the problem is that Viper's kind of the same way, and Viper's always just been a better version of that style. So I love the fact that Jordan, who comes in here as the underdog, knowing Viper very well, is just going for it. And I mean, they're going to be really annoying here. The eagle's going to be annoying here with the sheep and everything. It's just, I don't want to say the perfect start because I don't know exactly what he's found at home. But it looks like he's done a decent amount of scouting with his sheep. And he's been all over the Viper here.
Yeah, he has. And he's even in a position, he's got so much HP off of that scout. And he's so close to laming those extra 2 sheep as well. Viper had to be creative in bringing them to both sides of the wood line to get them back to the TC.
All right, so, I mean, what a start it'd be for Jordan to come in here, get a win against Viper. Viper's #1 Civ choice as well as the Chinese. So I will say this, like, Chinese have always had this vulnerability, and the Arabia version that you and I worked on together here, T-West, it's very open, and we just haven't really seen players try and be that crazy against the Chinese. We've seen a lot of players just stay at home with their scouts. So good work there. Viper Scout is weak. And Viper Scout's going to move over to try and find Jordan. And we'll see if Jordan...
Same thing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Say Viper still hasn't pushed any of his deer. So he's down at least, what was the 2 or 3 sheep there. Yeah. And has absolutely no extra food. And Jordan, he's just camping his eagle out there by the deer. That's and so good. The scout has 10 HP left. Even if he wanted to push them in and come back, he wouldn't be able to with the eagle there.
It's actually a really good job from Viper to recognize that he can't do that. And that might seem like a silly thing, like, oh, Viper recognizes he can push a deer. But he will have to plan on not having them. Sometimes you plan on getting that in when you loop back home, and you just can't do it. So I think he must know there's some movement out there, or at least realized at the time that Jordan would stick around. And what he doesn't see now, Viper, is that Jordan is going to back this up with a couple militia as well. So this is a sick build order.
Going for that early drush is so great as the Mayans when you have all of these extra sheep. Because Jordan still has 7 sheep to take under that TC, and they're going to be lasting just a bit longer with that Mayans bonus. So he's going to be able to delay his farms for a really long time. And potentially even get up to the Feudal Age behind this, get the range and blacksmith in. And if he's very greedy, like Doubt sometimes likes to be, could even go for horse collar potentially before doing any of his farms.
The other thing that's rough about this is the timing on Viper seeing the barracks. That could be a normal man-at-arms rush. So Viper doesn't actually know it's a drush just yet. He will probably notice this now. I'm not the biggest fan of Jordan showing this to him before he shows up with the second militia. But Jordan could kill a villager here. Viper's known for saving villagers with quick walls, but this guy's very weak. The blocking's happening from Jordan, and even if you don't get kills, all you want is harassment, and you just want Viper on the back foot.
Yeah, and you want to make sure he doesn't get any type of walling up with your militia, too. You're going to keep him microing and kind of force his buildings to be in positions he might not want them to be in.
Yep. Also, getting lames can be a little tilting, can be a little frustrating, could affect your mindset moving forward. I'm looking at Viper's eco, and it's pretty clear to me. There's no way he's going to be able to afford eco upgrades when he hits the next stage. At least not initially. He doesn't even have the food to produce a villager. So he'll get that, but I don't see double bid-axe being in his near future.
Yeah, he did kill the eagle, which is pretty crucial, so it won't be the scouting unit anymore for Jordan.
Yep.
But the Drush is still there on the berries, making sure they're not walled in.
Viper's doing the right thing here, though. With ideal starts, you could go scouts with the Chinese. That's not possible. So he's going to go into archers. He'll be up in 40 seconds. Jordan still choosing to take this fight. Probably not going to get any kills. And Jordan's just going to wall up the right side. He will likely go into archers of his own. Occasionally, you could back this up with third and fourth militia and go man-at-arms, but Jordan's not going to do that. And Viper, also with the weak scout, can't stop Jordan walling either. So it's pretty much the type of game that Jordan likes from this stage, but he's just set Viper back so much in the early game.
Yeah, as you said, Jordan recognizes that scout is pretty weak, so he's just going for a really big wall. And he has the scouting to know that Viper is not doing anything from that barracks either.
He's
going to kill the deer too.
Yeah, this is a really good start. This might be the best lame we've seen in Titans League Season 2. Like, we just haven't really seen a lot of it. A couple sheep stolen here or there, but I think in total he only stole 3 sheep. And against other civs, that might not be that big a deal, but the fact that he stole 3 sheep, blocked the deer, and has drushed the Viper now has really delayed Viper with what he wants to do.
Yeah, and especially on this version of the map, we did keep the boar towards the back of the bases, so those are a bit harder to lame. If you're still able to lame even with that, you can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean, had we... it's good, I think, that the tournaments that allow laming will have those boars be on the back and the sides, because occasionally there'd be a boar on the front. So this could have just been over. If the boar got stolen and 3 sheep went down, that would have been really brutal.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, Archer and Scout from Viper just tracking the militia. I don't think Viper will be surprised at all to know there's a range going up. He did actually see it. For Jordan and for Viper, they'll be working towards walls, but it's going to be Eco behind it as well. And Viper was able to squeak in his wood upgrade, and all things considered, I think Viper's done a really good job here. He hasn't lost a scout yet. And maybe this is this comfort zone versus Jordan, right? Just get your walls down, play into archers, and play towards Castle Age. It's kind of hard, though, to do something different.
This must be the most familiar matchup that Viper has ever had, right? Has he played more games against anyone than Jordan in his life? Maybe Doubt.
Maybe Doubt, maybe MBL. But just because, like, not so much these days, but for a period of a couple years, MBL was, like, the most played opponent for everybody at the high level.
That's true.
And Jordan was retired.
Back in those Bootly days, he was playing all the time.
Yeah, and like Jordan did retire for a bit. But I mean, I remember before Jordan retired the first time back in 2015, a best of like 111 that they just randomly did over a week. They played like 20 games a day, and I covered a lot of that too. And it was crazy. I think Jordan only won by like 1 game back then. So similar, these two.
Jordan throwing away a couple of archers trying to push into that hill. And one thing about the Chinese, they're cheaper techs, even though they're not that much cheaper in the feudal age. Just saving a bit of food on double bit axe and on fletching helps you out when you've been lamed like this.
Oh man, this is so bad from Jordan, and Viper's done a great job here. Will lose his scout, but I mean, he's killed all the ranged army from Jordan. And I'm not sure exactly what Jordan was expecting. I think that he felt like since he had skirms, he could push into this with the armor upgrade. But now he doesn't necessarily have the numbers. But Jordan with some good micro to get himself out of this hole.
Oh, absolutely. And that 1 scout remaining, even with just 10 HP, we see how effective it is against the skirms and how great a job Viper did to keep it alive.
Yeah, so 300 food for the Viper. He's getting his walls down. He will add his second range now. It is just 1 range for Jordan. I'd say that's more common these days, is to just see 1 range. Chinese can kind of get away with anything, but Viper opting for additional production. And this still is a race to Castle Age. This game shouldn't end in Feudal, but every little advantage that you get right here can matter.
Yeah, and Jordan's just going to keep going for the skirms, and it looks like Viper's going to keep on 2-range archer production. I just see archers queued in his ranges right now.
Yeah, I mean, if that archer wasn't there for Jordan, 1 scout pushes back all those skirmishers, right? But Jordan is starting to buy some food with a market, starting to balance his economy for the next stage. And if Jordan were to see that, obviously it's good from Viper to hide it, but if Jordan sensed this at all, Jordan should just fall back, and he should just wait for Castle Age.
Yeah, because those scouts will slow down Viper's Castle Age just a bit. And it seems like he just wants to go archers, then scouts into knights and go crossbow knight.
Yeah.
and really doesn't want to add skirms at all.
And honestly, I don't know how players like Viper get away with it, because every time I go straight archer, I always die to the skirm play, but it is extremely strong. It leaves you less vulnerable. If you mix in skirms, your opponent can go eagles, right? And I guess it's kind of what Viper's taking advantage of. Jordan mixing in skirms means that Viper can add a scout.
And he's being really aggressive here, trying to move out, even with only that one scout. He is assuming that Jordan is staying on only that one range.
Yep. And he just takes the hill. Jordan having the hill could have scared Viper off, but Viper's still pretty happy with the numbers. And yeah, it was the 2-range production. Now, again, Jordan had an opportunity to spot it. Didn't quite run home, but he's going to save most of his archers here, I feel. If he can do that, and Viper doesn't hold the gate open, I think he'll be okay still.
Yeah, that is the risk. If the scout just stood in the gate for a few seconds and let the archers in, that would have been pretty bad. And Jordan, he's actually not going to save the army because I think he was worried about that. He's just going to try to run away.
So Jordan's making the switch into eagles. This is pretty crazy. I mean, eagle all-ins from Aztecs and from Mayans can be really strong. But I have a lot of faith in the Mayans to be able to continue with their ranged units. They have cheap archers, right? So I thought that's what Jordan was going to aim for. He's got to be careful here. Viper's all over him. Viper will get more crucial kills. Viper's also on the hill, so he's weakening the gate, and there's a threat that he could run in.
Yeah, I think Jordan might need to just go to that back wood line and maybe get a second layer funneling any archer units towards the TC here. Palisade gates are not strong at all. There's only 128 HP left on it.
Yeah, this micro's been fun to watch, though. Jordan has put himself in a rough position with the lack of army numbers, but he has really microed his way out of some tough spots. Like, Viper's KD is still going to look fine, don't get me wrong, but the fact that Jordan hasn't lost more is pretty impressive to me.
So Jordan is up. Looks like he's doing 3 barracks eagles. Does have a market in case he wants to sell the stone. Sometimes you do want to sell the stone with that build. And Viper looks like he's only on 1 stable. Usually against the eagles, you want to get out the knights, I'd think. And he's just going to try to wall himself up. That's going to be a really big wall for him to defend, though.
Yeah, I really like the mixture of crossbows here. You would think initially, like, you don't want archers against eagles, but the eagles will have 5 pierce armor with full armor, and the crossbows will still do 7 damage. But what you want is you want the combination. So you want like 5 knights in front of those crossbowmen, and then it gets really difficult for the eagle player. But it's also a lot of confidence in the Chinese, but so much confidence in the Viper. But Viper's got such a reputation that if he's not winning a tournament, people consider it a failure, right? Like, he was winning everything for years and years and years. And people were asking me today, they were like, hey, who's the best player in the world right now? And I was like, well, how do you see it? And we talked it through, and I was like, if you go based on tournament results over the last 2 years, it's Viper. It's just he's not winning everything. And there's players right behind him, and that's what makes it so exciting too. So anyways, Viper hasn't really opted for many knights, and he is advancing pretty far forward here, so he's got confidence with Thumbring that his crossbow micro can do it, but he's not doing what I expected. I expected crossbow and knight, not for the knights to be on their own.
Yeah, same for me. And these eagles are fully upgraded. They have the Eagle Warrior upgrade and their armor. And Viper might just need to rely on some DE pathfinding here and try to not let the eagles get us around.
Yeah, the surround attempt is in. And, I mean, the surround is there. It's a good fight for Jordan. That's as good a fight as you're going to get, I think, getting the early surround there. But Viper's getting as much value as he can from the crossbowman. And with Thumbring being in T-West, Viper's just able to fire so fast, and he's running consistently so the eagles aren't always firing. And that's not the worst fight ever for Viper.
No, he's going to trade off most of that army. And you got to think maybe Jordan needed to wait for another round or 2 of eagles to pop out of those barracks before taking that fight.
I mean,
it felt like he wasn't under any urgent stress to take that fight when he did. He just opted to do it.
Well, I mean, you know, you also have to look at the aftermath of the situation. I think Viper did better than maybe I expected. But Viper's only on 8 crossbows now, and he still only has 1 knight, and that 1 knight's going to go down. And Jordan applying some crazy pressure against Viper in Dark Age, now doing it in Castle Age, Forward Siege Workshop, right on the 2 golds from Viper there on that hill. And this could snowball fast on the Snake.
And Viper's doing a 3rd range. Not what you usually see against 3 barracks eagles, opting to go so heavily into the crossbows.
Cav archers? Okay.
Maybe he realized he's in a bad spot and wants to have fun.
Well, okay. So, I mean, Chinese cav archers are not the meta, but they do have good cast league upgrades. And he already has Thumb Ring, which unlocks some potential for cav archers.
And they do have one more attack to go through that Pierce armor.
That and the mobility. Still, I don't think that was his original plan, but I think it could work well. I think they also, since with more HP, this forward siege isn't as effective against them.
Yeah, Viper does have to worry, though. He only has his main gold inside of his walls, and he will need to secure one of those hills in front of his base. Not immediately, but in the near future if he wants to keep making gold army. The extra golds are on the opposite side of the map, it looks like, or pretty far away from him.
My number one tip to anyone who's really trying to grind out this game and figure out what to do defensively is when they're attacking you, sometimes head to their base and force a reaction from them because they will make mistakes. Viper has crossbows heading to a wood line. He's got cav archers and he's got the knight there. And now suddenly Jordan can't have all of his focus there on that push. And it just makes life awkward. But it's not easy.
Especially when you have the monk and you got to be on point with converting knights if they try to jump the mangonels.
Yep, with siege monk pushes, if you can counterattack, they will sometimes forget to focus on that and they can lose everything to a knight or two. But Jordan is pretty wise to it, man. He seemed to notice everywhere. And Jordan's army count is still ahead of the Viper, and now he's going to dive in, and Jordan's probably like, oh, he's continuing with cav archers. Okay. But Viper with some quick walls, and Viper's done a great job with damage control, and the cav archers with the additional damage output are actually going to take out these eagles pretty quickly.
Yeah, and cav archers, they can be a decent option against eagles, just you don't usually see them with the Chinese.
Yeah. Yeah, like Huns would do it in some cases in a combination with some knights. Viper, by the way, 75 villagers. He's got a massive economy lead, but Jordan's looking to kill that economy and deny the golds, and that's my big worry for Viper. He's on 3 town centers, sure, but his stones and golds are all forward. Viper hasn't had the map control to be able to abuse the fact that Jordan's golden stone was forward there on the right side, which Jordan town centered. But I'm worried for Jordan. I mean, 15 cav archers versus 19 eagles. With Viper's micro and these upgrades, could be pretty insane.
And still the mangonels are there for Jordan, though. Viper's going to need to micro around that. That is 3 mangonels.
Viper really needs bloodlines. I like the fact that Jordan's taken out the ranges. And Viper's adding more ranges now, but you really need to have bloodlines on your cav archers because if they get hit by the scorpions and the mangonels, they will die so much faster without that upgrade.
Yeah, with bloodlines, they can at least tank a shot a bit. 50 HP without bloodlines compared to 70 with it makes a huge difference against those mangonels.
I love this play from Jordan. What a game. I'll be honest, like I still have confidence in Viper, obviously, but I was expecting Viper to just have his way with Jordan today. Jordan has always lacked some confidence against Viper because they know each other so well. And Jordan may be almost too realistic sometimes. Like, I don't know if I can necessarily beat this player or that player. But the save there on the wood line, saving all those villagers that are so weak. The defense there against the cav archers in the middle as he goes for conversion. He's going to dive in here for the siege. Viper will kill an eagle. This is wild, man.
And he's going to finish off the last archery range. Viper has to add a bunch more in the back of his base. And that's going to cut into Viper's production, too. Like, he's floating a lot of wood and gold that he can't spend on those cav archers as he's losing those buildings.
Still, though, Viper's got 88 villagers versus 65. And the cav archers look strong. The cav archers look incredible. Whether or not he planned it, I'm not sure. But I wouldn't blame him for planning it if he knew it was going to be this effective. And look at that right side there, T-West. He's on the stone, too. So if he's able to save up enough stone to make a castle at some point, he could maybe get access to all of his golds, too.
Even if he can't get a castle, even a guard tower or 2 on that gold just to push the mangonels away will give him so much more breathing room.
Yeah, and you can tell he's trying to just get these pickoffs on the siege from Jordan when he gets a moment. Jordan's going to dive here to take the mangonel, well played. And then the cav archers are in the middle of the map, and it's an attack ground from Jordan. I thought it'd be better, but he's looping into Viper's eco at the same time, so both players going for some damage control in different ways. This is ridiculous. Jordan's even adding a range. Now he's going to go back into crossbowman. He still hasn't even added...
This is the moment.
Yeah.
Look at Viper's gold. He's on his last gold pile, and that's just about to go out.
Ooh. Yeah, man. And I guess Viper would have to consider something like light cav as well. But he doesn't even have that much on food, right? And Jordan's in. Jordan's in on the wood line. Could find a couple pickoffs there. And Viper still has not found any damage with those cav archers in the middle of the map.
Yeah, that TC from Jordan on his gold is doing a great job protecting those vills.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things about this map I tried to do. Make it more kind of like on the original Arabia, where you could build on top of the hills. So you have that extra option of defending your resources.
Yep, you can't just sit back. If you're going to be on 3 TCs, you need to have the map control. And Viper's cav archers are looking really vulnerable now. He's just run over here because he knows I have to take the gold regardless. If I lose this game, it's going to be because I don't take this hill. So let's just try it. Let's try and micro against it. He does have one light cav. He gets a good mangonel shot. No way. Is he going to kill all this right now? Viper? Are you kidding?
He gets 2 mangonel shots.
Are you kidding me? What? He actually clears it. Down. What in the world?
He'd been fighting so much with the cav archers against the eagles that once the numbers dropped, he was able to run in with the cav, and even just that one light cav on 2 HP.
Yeah, it felt like
Jordan had to micro against the mangonel and the light cav at the same time, and that was just so bad for Jordan.
I honestly felt like Jordan had the winning ingredient. It was eagles and siege. Why did he stop making eagles here? The crossbow switch.
Yeah, it feels weird he went for the crossbow switch.
Yeah. It just... I mean, great micro from Viper there, right? Viper-esque situation to somehow get away with it, because that was the moment right there where Jordan could win the game. But a lot of this did have to do with the fact that Jordan didn't have any more reinforcements. Maybe just didn't really feel like he could do much more. He does get a good revenge shot there on the siege workshop. And now we have crossbowmen versus cav archers. And we should remind everyone, crossbowmen's still pretty good with the Mayans. And it's very cheap. So he should be able to move out across the map. And he can still pressure the golds. Viper just needs to maybe drop a castle there. And we're going to see Viper attempt that right now. Yep.
He has a castle right between that gold and that stone. And if you look at what Jordan did, he mined a lot of stone to build that castle defensively.
Yeah.
But if he had just been going all in on eagles, not doing that castle or the crossbow switch, feels like he might have been able to control this hill by the gold and not let Viper sneak out and get that castle up like he is.
I mean, he's got a lot of vision there still. So I think that there's a world where he could continue to do some raids, but he's scared of those cav archers raiding his woodline. So his crossbowmen, at least right now, they're waiting for those cav archers to loop back. I've seen a lot of Viper games where he goes all in Castle Age. And while his food count's banking right now, I think he might do it here because he doesn't really have the gold income to be able to go up to Imp. And all Viper's cav archers! Disaster! He's going to lose all of his cav archers to the crossbowman there from Jordan. And Jordan with the Viper-esque quick walls on the right side. Did you see that? I didn't. Holy crap. Kept the light cav out.
He keeps that monk with the relic alive and keeps that woodline safe. That woodline would have been absolutely dead. There's nowhere for those vills to run.
So now Viper is going in, but he doesn't actually have a lot of army. He's losing a villager or two to the eagles on the left. And there's going to be crossbowmen and eagles and whatever else running right forward there to his stone spot. And Jordan, who also wants Imp, is going to place a castle where his siege workshop was. And Viper wanted to do the same thing. But Jordan's is going to go up. Viper doesn't have the army to protect this.
Yeah, Jordan's, he doesn't have too many vills, but it feels like he should be able to get it up, and Viper will have to be at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah.
And Jordan's up to Imp about a minute slower than Viper. So in the Treb War, being on top of that hill, Matt, is just an insane bonus, because not only will your castle take less damage, but your Trebs will have the hill bonus.
I feel like Jordan could have denied this castle. He's worried because of the skirms, but I think had he pushed forward there, he could have actually denied it. But what he doesn't want to do, because he already knows his position is strong, is he doesn't want to throw. Right? Throwing his army away there would obviously lead to some bigger problems. And he's going to switch back into Eagles right now. I like the combination if he can keep it up. We've got 4 castles, 2 from each player. Right here, smack in the middle. 2 relics for Jordan. And he's about to bring in his 3rd. So, I mean, Viper's really going to be up against it with the long term. Crazy game.
And Jordan still adding his next castle defensively, gonna try to secure his base against these raids. And he was prepared for Viper to try to do something crazy and loop around with the light cav, and the crossbows were heading back, anticipating this. And that castle will go up.
Jordan can
Kills
win.
won't be picked off. You'll have the extra gold.
This game is incredible. Like, Jordan can win this series if he's playing like this.
Oh, look at the walls. Jordan's walling him in
Ooh.
on the right side.
Well, the worry is always the light cav, right? And for those that saw Sebastian
Right.
versus Vipers, the very first week of Titans League, Viper had this ridiculous comeback against the Mayans with Chinese. And it was similar situations, right? Mayans having all this control over the map and Viper just holding on, holding on. Viper's macro is incredible. He's at 56 on food back here. He's basically out of space. And if he has light cav and trebs, the light cav can raid Jordan to death. And Jordan's tracking it nicely. Again, light cav coming in. Jordan really wants that gold and that relic. But, you know, the worry is Viper gets to decide on where these fights happen right now. And the only way you get to decide on where the fights happen if you're Jordan is if you go for enough eagles.
And at the same time, Viper has moved out to one of the extra golds in the left corner.
Yep.
And Jordan doesn't have his army by the castle since he was fighting off the light cav in the back.
Yep. This is a crazy game for Viper. I really do not know how he's been able to have so much population this game. He's at 200 population. He's going to take a trade here. It is Elite Eagle. It's not El Dorado, and Viper's going to drop the castle beneath Jordan's castle, almost like expecting that he's going to complete this, but I'm not sure he will, actually. The crossbowman will be helpful for Jordan. Jordan doesn't have as much on gold as he did before, so he doesn't have that many eagles coming forward.
And the crossbows are there now. They're going to hop inside the castle.
What in the world is that castle from Viper? But he is going to treb down Jordan's castle.
It goes up.
He was right. He's going to treb it down, and now Jordan has to fall back, who has played so well this game. And Viper trying to raid. Jordan house walling it off and defending himself in the north on that
He's been
gold.
on point with those house walls.
Seriously. Crazy game here. I mean, the problem for Jordan now is he's been reacting, and he doesn't have a way to be proactive with trebs. If he had 4 trebs right now on one of these castles from Viper, it'd be a little bit of a different story.
And he's still on 1 castle treb production down in the south, where Viper has all 3 of his castles in the same spot, pumping already 3 trebs, and he can add more whenever he wants to. He should always have the treb numbers advantage down here.
I don't feel this way all the time anymore. You know, there's been moments in the past. This is my life now. I've got chills because of this game. Like, this game is incredible. From the castle underneath the opponent's castle with 30 vills, because you see the future, to the quick walls from Jordan, for Jordan to stay alive in this game. And Jordan also still has potential to win. If he has like 40, 50 El Dorado Eagles with some trebs, he could push Viper right off the front, right off the golds.
It feels like Jordan needs to work towards getting to 200 pop now. Viper's been there for a bit, and Jordan's been hovering around that 160 mark.
Yep. Yeah, Viper's got Cavalier out too. So Cavalier going to trade pretty well against the Eagles. And that one Palisade Gate that we thought would be a thorn in Jordan's side earlier does allow a couple light cav in from Viper. And those are the things that Viper will, he'll turn that into a bigger lead elsewhere. And he's still just trying to raid. He's actually going to castle the north now.
And now it's Viper who's getting all that map control. Jordan was there with the castles early on. He was so far forward. But now the other extra gold, Viper is also going to take that. And, well, in the long run, Jordan does have 4 relics. But it feels like he's still going to struggle against all this map control that Viper has right now. And against all of these light cav raids, still even running past the castles, just trying to find ways they can get in.
Viper's got 100% map vision, man. He could see everything. And to just swing these trebs over to the other castle while getting ready to defend the others is crazy. But Viper's taking a little bit of a risk. Jordan has 46 El Dorado Eagles. Again, if he had the trebs now, if he pushes Viper now, Viper could lose everything behind this. You've got to push Jordan.
Yeah, the problem is that Jordan doesn't have his army in position where he can defend from the trebs right now. The Eagles, they're mobile, but they're not quite as mobile as the light cav and the Cavaliers are.
Yep.
Viper can go back and forth whenever he wants to. Jordan's kind of pinned here now in the south because of his trebs. And he has to push through not just 1, but 3 castles. That's going to take him a long time to do.
Viper needs to buy himself time. If he kills these Eagles, he can win this game. Now, again, we are looking at Jordan, who has more damage control with the gates. He's going to save those villagers. That's ridiculous. And Viper's out of stone. He's made so many castles. Now Viper's going to lose the hill. It's 76 army for Jordan. He's getting fortified wall even. I don't blame him. Holy cow, what a game.
And it feels like Jordan now does have that initiative in the south, as Viper, maybe a mistake overextending himself. He did get that castle in the north, but what does that castle really do for him? He's not able to push into Jordan's base, and at the same time, Jordan's army now is completely concentrated in the south, and he's able to push in one spot, which is exactly what he wants to be doing.
So good. Like, Viper wanted to avoid this by hitting his opponent, similar to the Cav Archer counter raids earlier, but he's slowly losing those castles. Jordan does fail a gate there, so Viper gets in with a considerable force into the farming eco. That will hurt. Jordan even made a tower to kill the skirm so we could still take that gold, which is so important. It's similar to before T-West. Jordan's just going to run forward and take this gold. Because it's like Viper when he made that castle earlier. But while both populations are 190, it does feel like Viper's farming eco being behind all this with Eagles is a big problem for him right now.
Yeah, that's one problem for Jordan, is that he doesn't have Arbalest on those crossbows, and he's just now doing Bracer. He still needs those upgrades if he's going to take a really good fight with them.
Yeah, Viper's
at some point, the Cavalier numbers do overpower the Eagles.
He is getting Bracer now. Dude, this is insane. This game is absolutely insane. Both players have played unreal Age of Empires 2. This is the best Arabia game that I think I have seen so far this season. We're seeing the peak potential of both civilizations as well. And Viper might actually clear the hill now. I don't know how, but he's got 30 Cavalier on the field.
Numbers.
Yeah.
And we don't have Halbin for Jordan. Jordan has been pushing so much and pumping army that he hasn't gotten all of his imp upgrades in. And at the same time, look at Jordan's Vil count. It's dropping due to the raids.
It is dropping. There's 40 pikemen, though. And pikemen's actually key here. He didn't get Halb, and he did lose his trep, so he can't actually push much further. Viper's done such a good job at delaying these raids. Viper, even with the trebs in the north there, just banging open those walls. But, oh my goodness.
Taking down that tower.
Viper taking out those trebs there was so key because he doesn't really want to take trades against pikemen at the moment. And he needs time to get skirmishers or something. Exactly. Yeah, time to prep the ranges, which he's doing behind that castle now.
Well, time with a 50 villager lead is now 125 to 72.
Yeah. And yeah, that should be the difference in this game. I think small difference being 4-1 with relics, and Mayans can do some crazy things. But I'm only seeing 16 Eagles. I'm not seeing a lot of gold income for Jordan. He doesn't even have the gold for Halb. And Viper's now got skirms. And so the skirms help out against the pikemen. The pikemen don't do as much bonus damage as Halb does. And
Viper's army is fully upgraded. He has all the blacksmith upgrades. This is the peak Chinese army in the late game right here when you're running out of gold. A few Cavaliers sprinkled with your light cav and skirms.
This is unbelievable. I hope the rest of the series is like this. It's super easy for me to get excited. People make fun of me because I say every game is the best game I've ever seen. But no, this is the best Arabia game I've seen in this season. And
that just means the next game will be even better.
Yeah. And no wonder Viper picks Chinese first. I mean, I know why other people pick Chinese first. But, like, you know, you got lamed, right? You're against an Eagle all in. And you didn't have gold. Like, how did he get to this point? And Jordan has played incredibly well with the damage control, right? Jordan says, come on, bro. Like, he can't even believe this happened. Can you play a bit weaker versus me, please? 11. GG, well played. I'd be thinking the same.
Viper wins.
Like, do you think this is a recognition? Do you think this is Jordan recognizing that Viper's played like at his absolute peak there in that instance, but also he himself has brought everything that he has available?
Absolutely. I mean, look at how cornered Viper was in that base and still found ways to hold on. Like, he doesn't have wood left.
Yeah.
Look at his original wood lines. They aren't there anymore. He's just slowly been expanding out. It feels like every time he was almost trapped, he just managed to get out just enough.
This classic Viper, dude. Just classic Viper. Be under so much pressure and somehow have the presence of mind to raid and somehow bring it back. But again, I do want to state, even though Jordan lost his first game in this quarter, That was a tremendous game from Jordan. Viper doesn't show this level of shape all the time, right? It's hard to remain that consistent, even for him. And Jordan probably felt like at certain points in that game, he actually had him. Holy moly. I think if there's maybe one thing, because we do have to talk about what could have gone differently. I think if there was one thing that Jordan could and maybe should have done was never stop with the Eagles.
Yeah, I agree. It felt like that transition back to the crossbows, moving the eco to the stone to get the castle up,
Yeah.
just gave Viper that opening to move out through that hill and secure
Agreed.
that gold.
And I didn't necessarily hate the crossbow switch. It was just the timing of it. It's like if he had another 15 Eagles on the way, Viper would have never been able to take his golds. And while he did fine, he was very resourceful and he found neutral golds on the left. I'm not sure that Viper would have had the castle positions and everything else that he needed that game. But still, like, Viper's ability to recover in this game in all the different ways was beautiful. We will, have more games, though. This is a full best of 5. So, again, hopefully they're all this good. So it's game number 2.
For Ghost Lake.
And yeah, Ghost Lake, where Viper has Tatars, which fits for me. You've got more food on your sheep. There's a lot of extra sheep on the map. That alone excites me. And then Jordan went for the Mongols, and the hunt bonus that the Mongols have does not apply to sheep. But I guess maybe the vision you get on your scout could be helpful for him, and he might try another lane.
Oh, I think it is. Even just in getting the sheep in the middle. There are so many games I've watched where people miss the sheep by 1 or 2 tiles, as Jordan misses sheep by 1 tile right now.
Okay, continue.
So with a normal save, he would have missed that by even more. But I think that's what he's thinking though. Like Mongols on this map, you're also kind of far from your opponent's civ, right? So you kind of get to that late game situation where even in a 1v1, you're bypassing that castle age where the Mongols are at their weakest. Right?
I'm sorry,
like
you're
you
right.
Get to your late game army more.
You're right, and I'm being super disrespectful by laughing, but he has missed almost all the sheep. Oh,
He did.
Ay.
Oh, he's found 2 more with his sheep.
Yeah.
Maybe Mongols should also get a bonus on their sheep for more line of sight.
Watch. Viper's gonna run right into him, knowing Viper. Okay, well, maybe
He'll
not.
have his map packs.
Yeah, maybe not. No map hacks for Viper in this game. But okay, I mean, I think it's an approach thing too. I think if Jordan plays the previous game without laming Viper, he doesn't get as much of an edge. He feels the same here. He literally said, come on, bro, can you play a little bit weaker versus me? Like, he just felt such ridiculousness on Viper's side in game 1 that maybe he's gone for a bit of a lottery pick and is hoping that he could steal something. But that the lottery picks, as we even see Jordan sending a villager to go get those sheep, they don't excite me normally. Like the Mayans, you can do that with your eagle, but the Mayans also have a really exciting mid game, and I have yet to really see a game with the Mongols where I look at them in a close game in Castle Age and say they're excelling here.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like I've seen this game or this map go so to the late game so many times that what do you think about Mongols versus Tatars in the late game? Do Tatars have a great answer if the Mongols can get out their Mangudai Hussar combination on this map?
If the Mongols can get there with castles posted in the corners, the Mongols are almost unbeatable by all civilizations. So you're spot on. Maybe that's what Jordan's thinking, because we have seen a lot of those games go late. I don't hate the Tatars. I feel like the higher Pierce armor, Cav archers, and the Hussars, it's a nice little tool, but we are also going to have to see how the game develops here. But Viper, he's got exposed golds. That's been the theme on Ghost Lake. You can wall up between woodlines on occasion, but the golds will be awkward for you. And so he might need to compete in Feudal Age for this one. And same for Jordan, though I prefer Jordan's map, actually. He's got his stones very far on the back. The 4-tile gold is doable if he wants to take that instead of his main gold.
Yeah, he can wall in front of that. The stones are pretty safe, which is very important if you want to go for those castles as the Mongols.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the one thing to note about Ghost Lake is that your main gold, this was a change in DE's version of the map, but the gold is always on the center by the ice on that little piece of dirt grass there. So I did move one of the second golds a bit closer to the TC, so you don't have absolutely awful golds every single game.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's in a position where it's harder to wall, like Viper has, and you have to adapt to that.
Yeah, and I think the other minor tweak we made was just the wood lines, but wood lines can just be such a pain on this map in general. So
they always have been. That's kind of what this map is. Sometimes in the past, it was played as a Drush FC map because it was so easy to wall off.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely, I forget what category I had this listed in, but while it is open, it has more closed potential than, say, Arabia and some of the other maps we've seen. But Viper just
definitely.
now clicking up, 21 pop. Can't help but feel like he could have been faster if he wished to, but he's just easing his way through the next stage. And the thing about being fast up is you do sacrifice some things. So Jordan's only going to have one lumber camp. He might not be able to have the best of economies behind his push. I think it'll still be really good, though. He's got lots of sheep in the end. He's pushing in an extra deer, and the stable's already on the way up here.
And both these civs do have step lancers, which the GL team have liked doing in the past, few months or so.
Yeah, true.
Do you think there's a chance we see step lancers from both of them?
I would say probably not. I think you'd want to make the Tatar step lancers if there were more hills. Because otherwise you're just running into Mongol step lancers that have more HP. The hill bonus aspect of the Tatars just you can't really utilize here. So I'm going to assume no.
Yeah,
I could see the Mongols doing it, though. Because, again, the Mongols, they don't get Thumb Ring for free. They don't have any exciting Castle Age bonuses to talk about. But they do have more HP on their step lancers. So maybe that feels like something.
Yeah, that they do. And it feels like, in the Castle Age, the Mongols don't really have anything special against the Tatars.
Mm-hmm.
And army composition-wise, it's more to the late game where the Mongols want to shine.
Okay, so Jordan happy to take some deer on the right. He's also seems happy to wall out his main gold. And here he is with scout pressure. And let's see how Viper can defend this time. The timing's right for Viper. He's got the spearman. Viper will also be going for scouts. Noticing that for, Tatar player, Viper doesn't actually have that much sheep. It's enough. It's not bad. He's going to need to farm, but Jordan actually has a couple more sheep. So I didn't really follow Jordan Scout the entire time in Dark Age, but it definitely seems like him going forward early, and the Mongol scouting bonus paid off for him.
And Viper does still have 3 sheep left, and they will last quite a bit longer. So he still hasn't even added in a single farm.
Yep.
It's now 11 minutes in, and he's just finishing horse collar.
Yep. Jordan, Viper respecting each other here, and Jordan was trying to get hits on Viper's scout. Viper back and forth there. Spearman's going to be in the middle. Viper just needs to make sure he gets his walls down. And this might shift into a game where Jordan expects Viper to have walls down, so he doesn't make many more scouts. And then Viper expects Jordan to have his walls down, so he doesn't make many more scouts. But you got to be careful, though, if you're Jordan. I hope he clicks the villager to the right side, because there's actually a one-tile gap there. And I could see Jordan assuming on this map that that's just closed off there.
Looks like he is.
Yeah.
I think Jordan knows that you always got to double check.
Good stuff there. It's always frustrating to see a player lose because of a hole in the wall like that. And I've been saying it for years, but especially in the biggest moments, you have to check, especially these days, on very hilly maps. Because very hilly maps, you think you're house walled, and then suddenly you're not. And even this is an awkward spot with a hill. But it's not.
Viper was checking there. He was just double checking, make sure that there's any chance that there was a hole there he wanted to run in.
Viper does some weird things sometimes, man. Like, he started to make the mining camp. It's been sitting there at 50%. And I guess he's going to go to gold now, and it's the gold timing that he wanted in the first place. But it's just kind of a funky little thing that he does.
I guess he wanted to finish the walls first. Didn't need the gold just then.
But going to gold now does tell me that it could be an early range for Viper, but Jordan already has the resources to think about going to the Castle Age, and look at these two with their micro. Jordan really wants that weak scout from Viper. And, oh, what the?
Spears didn't get a poke. Viper wasn't paying attention. He doesn't even know what Jordan's laughing about.
They both immediately messaged. I think Viper, no, I think he knows what Jordan's laughing about. I think that he's questioning why he didn't get any hits there. And Jordan says you deserve that for last game, though. All right, love to see it. Love to see the banter. Well, I mean, Viper says, I haven't seen you lame like this ever, man. Who are you? Well, honestly, I love it. So, like, coming into this series, I just felt like Jordan always had so much respect for Viper, and they play so similarly, and Jordan wouldn't think outside the box and think too aggressive. And it just never felt like when Jordan would play Viper in tournaments that he would go into it with a killer instinct. Honestly, it's just like, oh, I'm going to play my game and he's going to play his game. And we're basically brothers. So whoever wins, wins. Whoever loses, loses. But this series, they've had the banter. They had banter in the chat room with the admin beforehand. Jordan forgot to backdate his patch. Viper said, Jordan's so unprepared. What a noob. All these things. And anyways, so Jordan's come in here with that same banter and that smiley personality, but he's actually been insanely aggressive, and he really went for it. So I'm really excited with how Jordan's playing right now.
Yeah, and it feels like Jordan is just ever so slightly ahead in the eco. He has less idle TC time. He's up to the castle age first. Viper's adding in that range, and he might be trying to go Cav Archers again with the Tatars.
Haha, I have the bigger one. I was talking about the Spearman. Okay. And Viper says, good job. Viper's like, well done.
Survives on 4 HP.
Yeah, well, I was initially very confused what he was talking about. I'm glad he filled in the blanks there. And Viper says, good job. He's well fed with all that boar meat. All right, yeah, that's true. Wow, these guys are chatting a lot right now, but it is Ghost Lake, I guess. But I think it's going to be an immediate 3 TC boom for Jordan. And this does remind me of the situation that Tato found himself in against Doubt, where he had the awesome potential to boom up with economy. And then I was just left sitting there in the mid game like, well, he's lost all control. What should he have done? So we'll see what it is. For now, TC on the gold, love that. TC on the woodline and the stone, love that. Those are ideal TC spots.
And here come the Step Lancers from that stable for Jordan.
And the monastery as well. So honestly, I think having leftover scouts and making a Step Lancer or two is great. This game might turn into almost similar to Arena, where you're just going for relics. So
yeah, it might, and you're just booming up because you're so far apart from each other.
Yeah.
And well, they did make an Arena, right? They are fully walled.
Yeah. And had Jordan not town centered his gold, I think this would have been a bigger issue. He'll have more control. The big thing we'll need to look to is how much does Jordan put on stone and when. If he really wants to rush an early castle, he'll put stone right away. But usually players aren't going to go stone right away. Normally they're going to wait until like about 50 villagers, I'd say, at the very least to get stone, because it just takes so long to get that castle, and you don't want the other aspects of your eco to fall too far behind.
He has 2 vills on the stone now, but he might be adding in more farms with them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the approach that players will take. He'll say, okay, this is my farm TC. So I will farm with those villagers, but continuously send new villagers there. But he's actually farming on the front. So yeah, Jordan is really starting to mine that stone early here.
Yeah, he is. And Viper is going to add in 2 TCs, but they will be a bit later than Jordan's. And Jordan already has a pretty big vill lead, up 41 to 35. He didn't do wheelbarrow, but it just feels like Jordan's a bit ahead here.
It does. I agree with you. And I love his eco upgrades. I love his vision. Going to his point of view is extremely satisfying, actually. I love the fact he's killed the spearman without losing the scout. But the only thing I'm not a fan of, and it's not really his fault, but he doesn't actually know Viper's going to go for some Cav Archers, so you will need to keep an eye out there. Viper's going to want some map control.
And 2 ranges from Viper and that monastery. They both want to fight over the relics. And what's this Vill doing from Jordan? Heading forward towards that relic, and he's going to build a siege workshop.
Oh, that's interesting. But it's also against the meta, right? It's outside the box. It takes advantage of the fact that Viper's had a very weak scout. Jordan has a weak scout in the middle now. But that's interesting.
Well, he doesn't anymore.
Yeah. Siege push. I mean, it is in a good spot, too. It's right next to the golds and stones. You know Viper has the town centers there. And this could, in theory, T-West, buy you some time to mass up that stone and get a castle down for the late game.
Yeah, it could. And we see Viper doing husbandry and fletching for the cav archers, but the cav archers are moving forward and they're not actually going to scout that workshop just yet. Looks like he's going over right now, maybe secure that relic.
Yeah, he did the same thing on the right.
Up.
Yeah, he escorted that monk on the right to get that relic. So he's doing the same thing here, and now he sees the siege workshop. And Jordan's going to be like, what, hacker, man? Like, what are you doing here? But that's all Viper's thinking about is just those relics. And it makes sense. So we'll see how much Jordan really commits to this. This will be something that Viper has to respect, obviously. So Jordan might just choose not to make a lot more. And scout engagement in the right corner, by the way. A Viper has the hill with the Tatars. Still loses the scout. And Jordan getting that relic in that corner and relic on the left side as well right now.
Yeah, and I wonder if Jordan will try to add army and eventually get back by that mangonel. Because you still don't want to just lose your mangonel for free if you can avoid it.
Yeah.
And that workshop will be up for a while with just cav archers there to pressure it.
I'm a little confused right now. We see an archer range from Jordan. Is he thinking skirmishers maybe? This is the thing about the castle, right? It's like, it takes you so much time. He's made a tower on his wood line that he has to be careful not to overchop there. Also, very much not a fan of that farm from Jordan. I get farming around your gold TC because it feels right sometimes, but, well, never mind. Viper hasn't reacted here. Hello? Viper?
Yeah, he hasn't. That TC's going to take out a lot of cav archers. He gets a double kill there.
Oh, man, almost triple as well. Well, you know, after the first game, I'm sure Jordan really enjoyed seeing that. All right, elite skirm for Jordan. I mean, I don't hate it that much the more that I look at it. He is going to drop another town center on the gold on the left. But if he can just get enough skirms to push Viper away, the cav archers won't be able to mass as easily. And then maybe he can drop his castle in a more ideal situation.
Yeah, but you got to think, if you're the Mongols, do you really want to go forward with the castle, though?
No,
I feel like
definitely
you just want to
not.
get your castle safe in your base. Like, maybe buy the main gold, even buy the hill near that rear gold.
Yeah.
I think you want to just prioritize keeping them alive.
Yeah, and the Tatars, as Jordan still hasn't even moved out with the mangonel. Like, dude, you've got to do something with it. But I feel like the Tatars, they want to deny that late game potential here. And they might want the forward castle. And I could see Viper, if Jordan wouldn't be adding skirms right now, wanting a castle right where his cav archers are currently. And then just going up to the Imperial Age.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to do that, though, because Viper hasn't really committed too much into army. Like, this is most of his army right here. Yes, he has 16 military, and that's not the numbers you really look for when you want to do a forward castle.
Man, this isn't going to happen now, but a second ago, Viper had like 15 vills on the same sheep underneath that one TC. I really wanted to see, as Viper keeps his monks alive and pushes forward, I really wanted to see a mangonel shot right there on those vills. Oh, so satisfying.
Yeah, they were standing idle for quite a while.
Yep. Yeah, like Viper's...
It's like when you use the repair hockey and they all go to the middle.
Yeah, it's true. Like, Viper's eco balance is a little awkward. I always have that issue with Tatars because you don't have the farms as fast due to the fact you're taking all the sheep. And here come the skirms. The skirms are going to go for the monks.
Transition there.
Jordan loses another monk.
Jordan's going to lose a monk, too.
Little awkward. Viper's dropping a castle. Jordan's probably not looking here, but you could kill some villagers there, Jordan, if you paid attention. It's just defensive play from Jordan, but I think all things considered, because we knew this was coming for the Mongols, that I think this has been somewhat acceptable from him.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just looking at that one monk where Jordan has no army back here, and he's just standing on that hill, trying to convert villagers.
I don't even... Where? Oh.
It's by the castle Jordan's making.
That's funny. He's hiding behind the trees. Let's go. So, Viper's eco wasn't very balanced, but I guess it was imbalanced in the best of ways. It's better to have 3k gold and lack the other resources than it is to have, like, I don't know, 3k wood. So he finds himself on the way up to the next stage now.
Yeah, sometimes you see players floating a bit of gold on this map as they're transitioning to IP, Imp and just focusing on their boom and not adding the army in as early.
Yeah. I mean, Jordan was crazy with the farms, right? It's currently 40 on food versus 24. So Viper has to catch up with the farming eco. And Jordan doesn't really need to catch up with anything. I think the balance has been there more for him than anything. But I'm a little concerned here that Viper could be annoying on this side. There's a hole between that wood line. And I talked about that earlier. Jordan made a tower, but Jordan, you can't just let Viper run underneath that. You got to be careful there, man.
Yeah, the tower's kind of blocking the hole a bit, but Jordan actually does realize that.
Yeah, there you go.
And try to wall it up.
So, Elite Keshik, OP and underrated or just right? What do you think?
I feel like it's about just right. Like, it's not that powerful compared to even like a paladin push, but it's a decent unit. I feel like it's pretty well balanced and it complements the cav archers fairly well.
Okay. Yeah, I think I don't know if it's OP, but I think it's underrated. And I know Viper had made a comment last year, and this is not a recent thing, where he said he thinks Elite Keshik is crazy value for what it does. It's 160 HP for a unit that's 60 food and 40 gold. Crazy amounts of HP, not to mention it does bring in a trickle of gold when you fight with them. And we know that Jordan wasn't really planning on the Elite Skirms in the long run, so him losing this doesn't hurt, but good engagement here from Viper, and he's definitely going to go Cav Archer Keshik. Could be surprised, possibly, that he hasn't tried to go for just the Hussars here.
Well, it is 2 gold units for Viper, and he was floating around 3,000 gold, so he does have some time to commit to them before needing to go for the Hussars. And you still want to hit those Mongols before they get their upgrades in, so double gold units and early imp might give you that opportunity.
This castle from Jordan, it has me uneasy, but I think he's going to It's going to be denied.
That house...
It's going to be denied.
Is there a hole anywhere?
That's going to be denied.
Oh, is there an opening by the house, or is that wood line walled?
I think this is walled, because Viper's checked it, but I think the house goes down and the castle gets denied at 80%, because Jordan hasn't sent more vills. What?
Oh, he runs away.
Oh, maybe. Okay. Well, I must not know something then. I was concerned.
He's just going to take the stone that Jordan's trying to mine now.
Yeah, and that's good. And this is what Ghost Lake is all about, right? Like, Viper had a crazy performance in Game 1 to see all those extra golds. Look at him right now. TC in the left corner, extra gold. Army on that left side, extra gold. And he's now hitting the stone. So, Viper might not have the best of answers to the Mangadai. We will see. But he absolutely knows how important these extra stones and golds are. And I love to see the awareness of that. Even from Jordan, too, as Jordan tries to take the left hill.
Yeah, and remember, the Mangadai don't have that final Pierce armor, so if you get enough Tatar Cav Archers out, you can probably take decent fights against them.
Yeah,
it's just the Mangadai are so strong.
If Viper just made a lot of Keshiks and moved out with them before upgrades. So, questionable there. Just now getting the Castle Age armor. And it's 30-30 with the kills. I think it's fair to say, because of how good both players are, that if Jordan were to lose this game, he probably wouldn't be able to win this quarterfinal. That's no disrespect to Jordan, but Viper's got a crazy reputation. And I think you could make more of an argument that Viper could win 3 straight against Jordan if Jordan would have gone up 2-0. But even still, man, the competition's just so high. Reverse sweeps are very, very rare.
And Jordan's trying to get some rating in with the light cav. I like how Viper's TC just has those sheep sitting under it next to that gold.
He doesn't need him. He doesn't need him. Viper could react here, of course, but both players focusing on the golds. Hussars for the Mongols have tons of HP. Always great to have it.
Jordan's going to steal the sheep.
There you go. He might actually. I don't know. It seems like he's happy, though. Just as long as Viper isn't taking that gold, you can prep a plan for it. And running in with the Hussars is something he should continuously do. You don't really have the Hussars out here to take any engagements against units.
No, and Viper, with the quick walls, will force the Hussars to run under the Cav Archer fire for a while and keep them alive.
I really like the initiative Jordan's taken, and Viper, for as active as he was on these extra resources, is starting to lose access to them now. The Hussars for Jordan still are being active. Jordan even pulling those Keshiks away so that raid could add up. And he's also taken Viper off the stone and is raiding Viper's gold again. This is constant.
And Viper, he's going to be struggling now because he needs to finish upgrading the Cav Archers. Just has the second armor and needs to get the third armor before he can really take a fight against the Mangudai.
Look at this from Jordan, too. Immediately loops around to the back corner. And he will be able to get to Viper's stone and possibly even Viper's gold and woodline there, too. And like I said, it's non-stop raiding. And Jordan made a very interesting decision here. A lot of people try and max out on their Mangudai right away and go for Elite Mangudai. He delayed the Elite Mangudai, feeling like Hussar would be more effective. And I think he made the right call.
Yeah, he felt that Viper didn't really have, I think, the army even to make a forward push, so he didn't need the Mangudai right away.
Yeah.
He could just go for the Hussar for the raiding instead.
This is going to be insane. So both civs get Siege Ram. The difference between their archer units now is that Mangudai have a bonus against Siege. So Mangudai are way more effective at killing Siege. The Tatar Hussars...
and...
go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and Viper has the extra ring archer armor. So against the Mangudai, his Cav Archers will still be okay in a fight.
Because he'll have 6 Pierce? Or is it 7 with the upgrade?
It'll be 7.
7. Okay, so 7 Pierce. I mean, against 12 damage is tricky, right? And Jordan says, shit. I'm not sure exactly why he's saying that. But something small happens, and maybe he's been spotted in the north. Oh, he can't escape. That's it. He's trying to escape. The wood line's too large.
Dead end.
Yep. Well, I mean, this is going to ramp up for a crazy fight. Again, both civs get Siege Ram, both civs get Hussar. The biggest surprise to me, though, is the fact that Viper didn't go Hussar. Going Keshik and also going Cav Archer is against what most people do. Typically, they have a unit like Hussar with cautious food.
And the heavy Cav Archer.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, Elite Keshik is way stronger than the Hussar. And he may feel like he has to do that, and maybe can do that because the price of the Keshik is so cheap.
Yeah, and he had so much gold to begin with, too.
Yeah.
And he's even doing guilds. He's prepared for a long game here.
Yeah. I think you can justify after guilds selling off all your food. All that 2,000 food, sell it off. You're 200 pop right now. That food income will come back. Just get as much gold banked up.
Especially since the market prices are still decent.
Yep, agreed. All right. Will we see the Flaming Camels, T-West? I'm kind of hoping we do. I don't think Viper will go for the Siegecraft upgrade that unlocks them.
I don't think so.
Holy
in the middle,
crap.
Viper's taking a good fight against the Mangudai.
Seriously.
And that's those Tatra heavy Cav Archers with their extra Pierce armor coming through.
Yeah, it's actually insane.
The one counter to Mangudai is usually the Archer unit because they lack that final armor upgrade. And, well, what's a better Archer unit than the Tatra heavy Cav Archer?
Dang, man. Yeah, Silk Armor paying off. Plus, you have the Keshik, which is a more valuable meat shield in the front. Jordan's got 4,000 gold, right? And he's got the castles. And he's going to chase this back, and Viper's meat shield did disappear much quicker than maybe he was expecting there. But I would...
even on the Hussars, the Pierce armor is going to be a difference because the Mongols lack both of those last armor upgrades.
Yep. Yeah, the extra HP is a little deceiving. It's a fun bonus, but you always would want to have the final armor upgrade in most cases. But yeah, I would...
Jordan's trying to raid again.
I would say that the one thing that Viper
should
do... T-West,
yeah.
sorry, I really think he needs a Tech Hussar. With that much food, like, I don't know if this game goes late, if he can just be found in a position where he loses his castles and he can't make a good stable unit anymore.
Yeah, prep it for the late game. He does have all the blacksmith upgrades at least, so if he wants to switch to it, he can.
Yeah.
I was going to say that all of his castles are very far back, and none of them are really exposed. So if he wants to make Keshiks for a long time, he is in a position to do it. And they do kind of pay for themselves a bit with how they generate gold.
All right, man. This is going to be a big fight here. We're going to have Trebs from Jordan. He did go as far as to get Siege Engineers. 3 Trebs is not enough for me, though. I think you could even consider going for 5 if you go for it. Because this game has gone on so long that people are getting all their HP upgrades, which they might miss out on in a normal game.
And the goal is that you want to be able to snipe off castles. If you have 3 Trebs and you don't snipe it off, then you've basically just wasted your Trebs.
Yeah. I think he's going to go for 5 here. He's thinking about that. I like the continuous raids from Jordan, and it's been good defense from Viper as well, we should say. A Viper with some house walls here to try and block the Hussars into the castle fire. But it's still...
He's just crazy with his quick walls. And Jordan hasn't been raided at all.
Yeah.
Viper, maybe that's what the Hussar tech could do for him, let him get a few raids in. But I've seen so many games where Viper just kind of defends, and even though he's being raided, kind of just shrugs them off and keeps his eco running.
Yeah.
And the Hussars are just running into castle fire now.
I think Viper, he's not making any trebs. He just wants to defend from the first wave from Jordan.
And look at the KD. Look at how much better Viper has been taking fights so far.
Oh my god, he's going for the Siegecraft upgrade. Guys, he could make flaming camels from his castles. Flaming camels have been, let's not say busted. They've been really good in key situations against Cav for a long time, but no one ever does it in tourneys. Even though there's instances where it could happen, particularly against maybe elephant archers these days, is where that could maybe fit into our meta. Will we see Viper queue up a few flaming camels? That's true. It's a big risk, because if you don't get the hits, they're like demos on land. If you miss your shots, and you're just missing out on some resources here.
It feels like Viper's winning this fight.
It is pretty insane. I mean, he clearly thinks he's going to win the fights, too, because he's not making trebs. He's just waiting for his opponent. No raids either this entire game from Viper.
And he's just going for the Keshiks. He's doing murder holes, too. Just in case Jordan wants to sit his Mangudai underneath your castles, get murder holes for him.
And now he might have actually gone for that upgrade to get more range in his trebs when he does make trebs, because he's getting siege engineers too.
Siege engineers.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Jordan's
just putting down lots of stables, but Viper, I don't think he's worried about this. I think he's content just to keep winning fights. And he has double the number of kills as Jordan does right now.
Viper's getting murder holes now. Or research murder holes, or someone's saying he canceled it. I don't know, but yeah, finally Viper makes some trebuchets. But hey, I mean, Ghost Lake has produced a lot of these types of games. And Jordan says, hope the viewers brought some time.
In the Ghost Lake games, sometimes you don't look at the food count, you look at the Hussar queue.
Yeah.
To see how much resources the players have left.
It's your weakness is what Viper says, which is true. And Viper knows that Jordan normally goes to sleep around this hour. But honestly, I think Viper's doing too much chatting and too little queuing. He has no army in queue. And castles have always been the key in these long Ghost Lake games. You have to have the castles to defend from raids. And Viper says, bro, I was typing. Amazing fight for Jordan.
There are the trebs, and he gets the castle. So 4 trebs for a castle? What is Viper doing? He's just building one right in the same spot.
Yep. And that's okay for Jordan. I mean, obviously that might be a little frustrating, but that is still a finite resource that's known. And the Mangudai and the Hussars are pushing. And is Viper just going to die right now? Is he just going to lose the next castle?
It feels like he didn't have the production, and that's what the downside of the Keshiks is. You can only make them from your castles, and he's down to 3 castles. He's not spamming Hussars like Jordan is.
Exactly.
How many stables does Jordan have? 22.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the production.
And Mangudai also still seem to be very strong. And I mean, from hope the viewers brought some time to game over was not exactly what I was expecting here, but it seems like that might be the case. If Viper loses this castle too, it would be a horrible loss for him.
He's at 140 pop and dropping, and he doesn't have the production to keep fighting this. Mm-hmm. And as you were saying, if he had just spammed some stables down earlier, and he calls the GG.
Yeah, I think going Keshik and Cav Archer is just a mistake here. We could talk about all the different bonuses, the Tatars and the Mongols, but it just simply was way too difficult for Viper to reinforce with units. Prior to losing that one castle, I think he had 5 castles to produce from. As you mentioned, 22, 24. I mean, there's probably more around stables from Jordan. And Jordan, he took way more initiative, too. He had gotten the relics early, and he had the Trebs mass with siege engineers ready to go. So Viper loses the game. Would have liked to have seen what the Tatar Hussars could have done there in combination with his Cav Archers.
Because he had 7,000 food left over, and the Tatar Hussars do have that extra Pierce armor with their unique tech.
Yeah.
So throwing them in as a meat shield here, like they have an extra 3 Pierce armor over the Mongol Hussars because the Mongols are still missing that armor.
Yeah, and Viper was when Jordan was typing. I mean, it is true. I mean, it was a bit of a distraction for Viper possibly, but Viper didn't have any army queue. There was a period there where he didn't have any cav archers or any Keshiks in queue. So it wasn't just the fact that he didn't have the stables to produce from. It was also the fact he just wasn't making units. So scores 1-1. This game doesn't go on for 3 hours like we thought it could have. Well played, Jordan. In a matchup where we had said it's awkward sometimes in the mid game, T-West, he got to his castle. He defended from the Viper. And even though he lost 100 more units, he gets the W.
And it feels like it was just one sudden push at the end there that decided it.
I'm also, people are saying check the map. Viper only had one boar. And this is awkward. He only had one boar. And he thought he was lamed, which is why he said, you lamed me.
He was lamed.
Ooh, that's really bad. I mean, I'll talk to Viper. Let me talk to Viper and Jordan about that real quick.
Yeah. I don't think it really matters on this map, but
it is.
Yeah, that is bad if he
it's
didn't
tricky,
have it.
right? Like it could always have had some type of an impact on his opening. His opening wasn't affected in a way where I thought it was. Like he went 21 pop, I remember, and I made a comment of 21 population. That's a little late. But he had so many sheep, and he went scouts, and the castle time was all good. So yeah. Let me see what they want to do about this. This is an interesting spot. The game went to post imp, right? The game went to post imp. That's something that I just kind of expected would be there, right? You figure you kind of.
He had 7,000 food anyway. It's not like he was lacking for food at that point.
Yeah. Let me speak to Viper, see what he has to say. I don't need to step away either. We had a lot of different people who could have noticed it, and just none of us did. I didn't even see anything in my chat about it.
And this is interesting. This is the first time I've seen this. One of the golds managed to spawn towards the back for Jordan here. These players really like to
make sure Viper has his boars. Make sure Viper's got his boars.
Check all the boars now.
Yeah, that is a funny gen. No, this actually isn't that insane. Obviously, Jordan having an extra gold in the back is nice for him. But the wood back there is actually, I think, the biggest thing that can swing on this map, because Acropolis could have some funky gens.
Yeah.
But, okay.
And this version, at least, you can't wall off those things if they do spawn in the back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, it's really weird that it did spawn there. It shouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
But
so
I might just need to increase that distance
for the sake of videos later on, and I think it's important to clarify the situation here. I didn't have any contact from JBR, our admin, and no other caster or player covering this. No one mentioned or seemed to notice that Viper didn't have a boar in game one. So he only had one boar. Viper made a comment, and I assumed in that instance that was Viper thinking like, oh, okay, you're trying to lame me because you lamed in the first game. But yeah, Viper felt like he was lamed, so he had a boar stolen in game one. Turns out it just didn't spawn. So typically what happens is we just say, hey, yo, Viper, we noticed this. We're going to restart it. Didn't find out till after the game. Again, like no caster, no one notified JBR. I didn't notice it casting with you, T-West. No one noticed. Maybe there was a viewer here or there who said it in the chat. But we didn't have the discussion till after the game. Jordan and I both said, hey, man, like, let's replay this. We could play this game if you want to redo it. And Viper said, no, we'll move on to game 3. So, I guess the saying shit
on game 3.
Yeah, and I guess the saying shit happens is very fitting here. But overall, I think Viper didn't feel like, you would hope he would feel like it didn't influence that game massively on Ghost Lake, which went to super late game and went to the hour mark with those types of armies. So, but yeah, I just wanted to clarify that because a lot of that clarification came in between games, which people in video form might not have heard later on. And so scores 1-1 in this quarterfinal. Viper's got the Magyars, and I am a little surprised by this pick here, T-West, because he had the Berbers. And while the Magyars have some crazy potential with their attack with cheap scouts and free forging, etc., I feel like Berbers and their cheaper stable units is just more of a sure thing. And having no eco bonus with the Magyars makes it a very unlike Viper pick.
Well, I feel like Viper needed another civ for Kilimanjaro, right? So it was going to be Magyars and Berbers for both of those maps, and Magyars are probably a bit more suited for Acropolis than they are for Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, that's probably part of it, right? I don't think Viper would have picked Berbers so early on his draft and then just not planned on playing it here. So I think that would probably make sense. The tricky thing will be Castle Age here because the Gujaras have the additional bonus damage on their camels against knights. And so if it gets there, Viper will hope to have a lead. Again, he's got cheap scouts, and he also gets the forging upgrade coming in, and iron casting would apply to any spearmen too. So I could see maybe something like scout spearmen into pikemen and knight for Viper.
Yeah, like you're mentioning the Berbers, I feel like the Berbers usually are a pretty good save to have against the Gujars. And maybe Jordan's thinking he's going to pick the Gujars on this map because it seems like Viper wants to use Magyars here.
Sure. All right, well, we're going to see scouts from both. This should come as no surprise to anyone. This weird little map gen for Jordan. He's with this gold and this relic down here towards the south. Doesn't see it.
To be fair, Viper has the same thing, only with a gold and a stone to the edge of his map.
Yeah, true. Well, I think the biggest thing we wanted to work on with Acropolis, because Acropolis has been around for a long time, but it's really hard to have consistencies, is we wanted it so players couldn't wall to the edge of the map. And that change has changed how players play this map, because actually, I'm a little surprised Jordan's doing what he's doing right now for that reason, right? He's stuck on the hill. He can't wall to the edge of the map very easily, so it's just hard to play defensive. And that's led to a lot of games where we have high scout numbers and where we have a lot of aggression.
Yeah, it is possible to wall off the top, but you need to go the full circle around your entire base. You can't just go to the edge anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's perhaps surprising that the players both put their lumber camps at the top of the hill and didn't try to claim one of those middle woods yet. Sometimes you see players do that right from the start in the Dark Age because the top woods are so small.
Yeah.
And it looks like Viper's just going to do that now. But if you look at the lumber camps, they actually kind of got good wood lines for lumber camping at the top with how close several of their woods spawn together.
Yeah, that's true.
Jordan has this big line of trees by his gold.
I like Jordan's opening. The lumber camp situation's always going to be awkward regardless. But I do really like the fact that he's just staying at home with his camel scout. It is the most bland, boring, least exciting opening that you could probably have. But I've seen it so frequently with the Gujaras against scout builds. If they show up with two scouts, that one camel scout is enough to fight that off initially. So, yeah, just push in your deer, be greedy, be economic. And then when you have your own scouts out, then you can end up moving forward.
And it also means you can do your scouting in your Dark Age, and you don't have to worry about pushing the deer until later on.
Yeah. And you can get a pretty solid uptime without pushing your deer with the Gujaras. So I like Jordan's start so far. Jordan has looked really clean today. And after the previous game, I kind of feel like if this does go late, maybe Jordan has a better understanding of what comp I want to go for. Obviously, I think Viper has a very good understanding on the Magyars, and I'd love to see more Cav Archers from him in this one. But here he comes.
Feels like Cav Archers, though, against Shravamsh Riders are a big risk if you want to go for them.
Yeah, I'm actually curious to see it because the Shravamshas have impressed me in Castle, but I feel like I just haven't seen them against a real high power unit like Magyar Cav Archer yet. So I actually don't know because Shravamshas seem to die really fast after their, their dodge is finished. So I'll be curious to see. Viper with some quick walls here. Oof. Saves a villager. Needs to continue to quick wall. And no quick walling.
Not going to get it.
Yeah. Okay, well, villager there for Viper. That should be a dead vill. And he wasn't able to kill anything at Jordan's base because Jordan had spearmen. Viper had gone forward with his spears. At least one of those spearmen. And so a good start here for Jordan in game 3.
Yeah, and that's what makes this map so difficult. Viper, if he's going to clean this, he needs the spears because that camel scout is in there. He can't just chase it with his own scouts.
Yep. And Jordan laughing, I think maybe because the spearman got a second hit. Been a very chatty series. Viper might not want to chat anymore.
He might not type in the box anymore after that fight.
Oh, whoa, look at that. The camel's stuck. The camel didn't attack there for a while. That was an interesting engagement. And Jordan says WTF.
Jordan's confused.
Yeah, because like that camel scout is the big reason that army had value there. And he just froze up there. So Viper happy with that. And Viper letting him know about it.
Yeah, I wonder if it was like on stand ground still and didn't attack properly somewhere. That felt weird.
Wouldn't it, if it's on stand ground, wouldn't it still attack a unit there because it's standing
It still should.
next to it? Yeah. It could have been an attack stance issue. It's a rare scenario there. But here comes Viper. And Jordan, man, you've gone for such a risky play here. Trying to switch into archers on this map and also staying up on this hill against the Magyars. It could be devastating.
Yeah, and also archers as the Gujars. It feels like long-term, that's not really what you want to be going for anyway.
I guess archers and spearmen could be really good. And there's the camel scout doing the work we thought could have happened earlier. And Jordan loves his archer switches in general. I do think it's a preference thing. Viper's definitely more the player to just pile on the scouts, but he's added a range at home as well.
Do you think that the Gujars have the option to add more camel scouts in an extended scouts war?
No.
Or if it's more they just want to skip the unit because it's too expensive and not really that good in the feudal age?
It's a good question, but I think the fact it takes 60 seconds to produce makes it a no. What is good, though, is making them while you're on your way to the next stage against the extended scout war. So if you continue to make scouts, spearmen, whatever, and then you click up to castle, that's when I think you could justify making the camels a bit. But, I mean, the play for Jordan has kind of worked out. It is definitely awkward, but he has enough wood.
It's like this AI army of spears, archers, camel scouts, and scouts all together.
Yeah, seriously. The Viper wants to take out the sheep out of that mill. The Viper has 9 scouts on the field. He has his own archers coming, and this will be awkward for Viper to micro, but it is Viper. So if he can use his archers against the spearmen, the scouts are going to kill everything else here.
Yeah, I feel like, does Viper want to do bloodlines in this situation before he fights the spears? It will delay him, but he only has 2 archers forward right now. Mm-hmm. He's doing the armor. He'll have the attack from being the Magyars already. Yeah,
absolutely. He also needs to just fake attack with his scouts here so he doesn't lose his own archers. Because if he loses his own archers, then he can't take care of the spearmen anymore, and there's still so many of them from Jordan. This is a really good moment for Jordan in this game. Perfect defense. And Viper just, you could tell he wanted to attack right there because he feels the pressure because he spent so much food to go up. And he can't go up. But I like that defense from Jordan.
Yeah, and Jordan's getting close to the castle age. His food is almost there. His gold's there already. And I would expect him to add in a couple more camel scouts on the way, as you mentioned, for them to turn into the camels.
Look at Viper's long little casual building wall with no palisades on this right side. That's pretty cool.
And he's going double ranges.
There's still a big window for him, T West. I think there is,
but even against the Gujars, it feels like double range is a very risky play.
Yeah. I mean, if he didn't lose those 3 archers, they'd have the same amount of archers. Viper'd have all these scouts, and Viper could dominate here. But because he lost that archer, Jordan has a nice little window. And I think the Jordan of old, the Jordan of maybe even last month, wouldn't be going forward right now. But he's going to take the fight to Viper's base.
And he's checking those scouts, and he must keep seeing that there's no bloodlines on them.
Mm-hmm.
If there were bloodlines on them, they could probably take the spears. But without that upgrade, it's just coming in now.
I wonder,
Jordan still could probably win this fight if he forces it.
I wonder if there's a part of Jordan there that was like, I have to be more aggressive in this series. I have to be more aggressive. And so he thought about it, and now he's like, wrong time. Wrong time to be aggressive. Shouldn't have done it. What was I thinking? Viper so badly wants to engage, but Jordan just still holding him off. Look at this micro from Jordan. He kills another scout. He picked off an archer. And he's still closing in on the next stage.
He is, and he's adding that second stable.
This defense is insane from Jordan. How is he microing this? And Bloodlines is in. Viper will get the hill. That's a lot of spearmen. And Viper won't have any archers. And there's a camel scout getting some hits in here.
Viper, does he have enough scouts left?
It's definitely one of those fights where I feel like it's just not good enough if Jordan is going to be in Castle Age soon. And Viper's archer timing was delayed past what he needed. All of those scouts there are incredibly weak. They will probably not be able to kill any villagers at least. And Jordan's going to be up. This is an amazing position for Jordan to be in.
Yeah, even though he lost a lot of his army, those archers will go down to the soon-to-be camels right there. And even now, potential Shravamshriders could come out.
And Jordan also trying to save the weak camel. Beautiful. Oh, okay. Well, he loses the camel. But Viper hasn't clicked up to Castle Age yet. Jordan defended against Magyar scouts and the archers. And now he could be free to drop a second town center on the bottom.
Yeah, Viper invested so much into those scouts, and Jordan has not made that forward lumber camp yet. Sometimes you'll see players just like the Viper did go for that lumber camp early on in the Feudal Age or even in the Dark Age, but Jordan has been at the top of his hill this entire time.
This is honestly insane. I mean, you knew going into this, Viper had Berbers. It's a more proven pick here. He's probably saving it for another map. But you also knew it is Viper after all. And the scout potential of the Magyars is always unbelievable. But Jordan just defended from it. And he stayed up on top of his hill, which a lot of players haven't been doing. And now he's free. And he'll drop his second town center. He ended up killing a villager from Viper and didn't lose a single one to that entire attack. Just crazy stuff here. And Viper's still 90 seconds away from Castle Age. I don't even know what army he's going to be able to push with when he gets there.
Yeah, that's the hard thing. You can make one unit, but then the Gajars just have so easy a time of getting to the counter. If Viper goes for archers, you get the Shravamshriders. If he goes for knights, you have the camels out. And both those units already are on the field for Jordan. They take the same blacksmith upgrades. They take the same stable upgrades. It feels like this is a really good spot for Jordan to be in. And I'm not sure what Viper wants to go for. I feel like the Gajars, you really need some type of double gold composition or a good massive pikeman. Yeah. And you can't go for one single unit.
Well, Jordan hasn't overcommitted here. He has made a little bit. We'll see if Viper can defend. He is rewalling his wood line. But it seems to me like Viper wants to consider Cav Archers, which is a long road, but eventually the Magyar Cav Archers are some of the most exciting Cav Archers in the game. He's got lots of food. He's got lots of gold. He does make Cav Archers now. And actually, I actually forgot he had the 2 ranges on the front like an idiot. So he's going to have 3 total ranges. And he's getting Bodkin. And we'll kind of have our question answered on if we feel like the Travamshas are going to be good enough against Cav Archers here, I guess.
I feel like Jordan could go either Shravamsh or Camel against Cav Archers, though, because both of them, in different ways, work as a counter.
Yeah, that's true. I think Jordan clearly feels like switching into your own crossbow. Oh god, Travamsha's in. Viper trying to save the villager, can't save the vill. I think Jordan believes that having your own crossbow mass is important against Cav Archers, because he had done the same thing earlier as another villager goes down in the first game, remember? Where he switched into the crossbowman instead of just committing with eagles.
And in the south, Jordan manages to pick off a couple of Cav Archers as they come out of the ranges. And it feels like a good start to the Castle Age for Jordan.
Yeah, seriously. He's got 2 TCs. His eco's evenly balanced. I'm not sure about this fight, but he's going to take it. It is against Magyar Spearman, but that is definitely an engagement Viper's going to want. And Viper,
I don't know what Jordan was doing there.
So ballistics will come in for Jordan. 10 crossbows. 3rd TC as well. Man, he's really going for a lot of economy here. And Jordan...
He's up by about 10 vills.
Sees the Cav Archers there. I'm honestly been so impressed with Jordan today. He's been so defensive this year, over the past year or two. And that's been an issue for him against the Big 4, Big 5, whoever you put in that category. And he just doesn't hesitate to go out and attack. And it's just not an aspect of his play that I've been seeing recently. This is so good. Now, he could lose his army, sure. But he's at least controlling the game here, T-West. He's the one deciding when the fights are being taken. And that allows him to maintain that economy lead.
Yeah, it does. He deletes his Shravamshrider even so he doesn't get a conversion there. And can Viper really make this happen with a bunch of spearmen, maybe pikemen later, and Cav Archers?
I think maybe a combination of crossbow and skirms could work here for Jordan. The Viper's trying to dive on top here. He doesn't have thumb ring, so there's a very big difference between what we saw in the China game and this game. He doesn't have thumb ring, so there's just a bit more of a firing delay. And Viper wanting to conserve his mass will back away. But this is definitely going to fall into that category of a classic Viper comeback if he ends up winning. Because this is... the economy difference is just going to grow and grow and grow here. Jordan has been on stone, so he could make defensive or an offensive castle. He's even going to tower his vulnerable gold right now on the left side. So he knows that Viper's headed there. And we'll see what Viper can do. We need some Viper magic here, T-West.
Yeah, we do. And Viper has the stone for a castle. Where is he going to drop it, though? Because he has been mining stone. He has 651. Has the second TC to defend at home. Does he try to castle drop those 2 forward TCs of Jordan?
It's a little risky if you see a lead skirm out there, but maybe with the way this game is flowing, you feel like you have to. Viper, he must know something's up right now because he doesn't actually see the army from Jordan. So I think he's looking around, but he is going to find some kills on the right. He's now running through the middle, and I think he just spotted, wow, what great awareness. There was a little blip on the mini-map, and he saw the units coming in from Jordan there at his base.
Yeah, those crossbows are pretty dangerous now, though, because they can just walk around at the back of his map and start shooting at those stone vills, or they can just go around the front and punch through that palisade, or even start hitting that gold mine.
A crossbowman. Still no ballistics for Jordan, who built the university a long time ago. And I actually was assuming he had it, but okay, there he goes with ballistics. Also, a 4th TC on that left side. The Viper building his 3rd TC now, but there's just a big difference in resources collected. It's currently 20,000 resources for Jordan, just under 19,000 resources for Viper.
And Viper's still sitting on all that stone, hasn't placed down the castle anywhere. Gotta wonder where he wants to drop it.
I feel like both players are circling towards the middle now. They're both thinking that the castle could be coming up there for them, and Viper has a big army. Jordan's army's out of position. That's such an important spot.
Ballistics.
Oh, man. The crossbow, though, like, Viper needs to make sure he can protect his vills because the crossbow are coming in from Jordan. They could run right to the middle. Jordan sees this, and Jordan's going to drop his own castle.
Race.
Oh, God. I think this is good
Jordan
for Viper.
has more vills there.
They're blocked.
But they can't all reach the castle because of that gold blocking them.
Yeah, and the light cav's there. Now, Viper will probably lose some cav archers, but we know his castle's going to go up, and we don't know if Jordan's castle is going to go up.
Jordan, he reacted instantly, but just didn't have the vills at the right spot.
Oh,
that
man.
Gold pile did such a good job of blocking things off for Viper.
Jordan is going to try and force this down. It's a 60%. It's just so many random units in here. We've got an armored elephant now, and it's going to head in for that castle. Now, Viper will garrison the cav archers. He now realizes that he might need some siege, and instead of going for a ram, he's going to try a mangonel, which a lot of players will do here. But I think the issue is I don't know if his mangonel can be close enough to be able to hit the elephants without going down to Jordan's castle. So Jordan could still be okay here.
Yeah, it's a situation where the Wait, the
Whoa.
elephant can garrison in the castle?
You can garrison those?
I didn't know that. Oh, gosh. That's insane.
What? You can garrison?
You can garrison the armored elephant.
I didn't know that either. Let's see where Viper's mangonel will sit. By the way, Viper, his cav archers are still inside of the castle. So he's not able to raid or anything.
Well, it does add a lot of arrows to the castle.
Is that mangonel able to hit everything here? Okay, he's running away.
I think it is.
69 villagers versus 88. Jordan has very little army to defend
petard.
himself. I think Jordan's going to take this out.
Finally, Jordan gets it. Yeah, he finally gets the elephant in the right spot, that little one-tile gap between the two castles.
Oh, shoot. So that's what he was trying. That's why he was garrisoning and ungarrisoning constantly.
That's what he was trying to get there. That's where the
Wow.
petards are going now.
Dang. And so, Viper's not going to have a castle now. And, that was really good from Jordan. And now Viper's got to make his army count. I thought that was maybe his moment. He killed 28 villagers in this game. Most of that was from that instance there. Goodness gracious. What a game here, man. And what a performance from Jordan today. Viper, a little sloppy now. He sent a couple cav archers into the castle fire from Jordan. He's got to turn it around here, Viper. 19 on food. It's 40 on food for Jordan.
My chat wants Viper to dock the pond and eventually go for cannon galleons, take out the castle.
Well, if he's not going to survive very long if he keeps throwing cav archers into this castle. He's not going to survive long if he doesn't do more damage. Jordan's got an incredible economy. He seems to have great vision as well. I kind of like how Jordan has built up the tower on the right side because he knows Viper's going to raid him there. So we can always hop into that tower if need be. Yeah.
He has an elephant archer too, just standing guard over that stone mine.
And he's going to research Shatros now, which means all the units that Jordan will make that cost food will be 20 or 20%, I forget, off. And Jordan's going to get armor upgrades.
25%.
Yeah, it's a strong upgrade, man. It's also very cheap. I think it's 400 food, 200 gold. So it pays off easily.
It does, especially if you're getting to the late game and starting to do some light cav or hussar raiding.
Mm-hmm. Well, here come the mangonels. I don't know if Jordan expected this, but he certainly felt like he needed more than just the crossbows and skirms. So he is going to spam those Shravamsha riders. And it feels like if Viper doesn't kill fast, he's done. Because those Shravamshas are going to be able to hit his economy so easily at home. Viper has to be killing units constantly here.
And not just hit him at home, but eat up some of this cav archer fire and maybe even snipe off those mangonels he has.
Yeah, now we get to see how these Shravamshas are against cav archers. Not imp cav archers. I doubt this game will end up heading there the way this is going, but as Viper kills his own cav archer on the university, he's currently just targeting on that TC.
It's such an awkward spot to do that from, too. The mangonels have no room to micro sandwiched between that market, university, and archery range.
Yep.
If he needs to run away from Shravamshas, it's going to be really hard to pathfind out of there.
Look at Jordan. He's not going to defend the TC right away. And he's going to counterattack. Yeah, interesting decision. I really like that. I don't think Viper was expecting that move, and Viper's now losing his ranges to Jordan's elephant because of that.
Yeah, and the siege elephants, they're hard to fight with bills because we already have both blacksmith upgrades in.
Mm-hmm.
It's 0 melee armor. It's not like the -3 that rams usually have, and that elephant will get a few more hits in before it goes down.
So we'll see if the Shravamshas can find all the spots of the eco. Jordan had used the raid distraction to get a big mangonel shot on Viper. He will take out all the siege from Viper. He's got a bigger army and a bigger eco than the Viper. And now Viper's in a position where he has to react constantly. Viper's going to go light cav with full attack upgrades. Cav archers with almost full attack upgrades. And this could be all-in Castle Age from both players right now.
And look at the HP on that TC from Jordan. Only 55 HP, but he manages to save it.
Yeah, he knew.
And here's the Shravamsha cav archer fight we've been waiting for.
The thing about the Shravamsha that's so crazy is it's so fast. You can't really hit and run against it, and you can't get away from them.
Faster than the cav archer.
Yeah, it's the fastest unit you can make in the game, I believe, at least in the standard game. And, I just see Viper falling apart against this unit. There's just so many of them. It's so cheap, and it does so much damage. Jordan's at 170 pop, Viper's at 130, and Jordan, with 2k gold in the bank, could be on his way to imp soon.
Yeah, and even if Viper keeps pumping out these light cav, Jordan can just add in camels. Mm-hmm. It's so easy to make that switch.
Look at Jordan's scouting as well here. He's got vision on the right side as he kills villagers. And we've got vision on the left as well as Viper calls the GG. And Jordan is up 2-1, 2 straight victories against the Viper. Viper's win in game 1 was unbelievable. But we said that Jordan came to play today, T West. Ooh, boy, this just got crazy.
It did, and I feel like the Civ matchups for Viper, he would have wanted Magyars against Hindustanis and Berbers against Gajars.
Mm-hmm.
And Jordan read the map pool, read the Civ picks from the Viper, and got what is, I think, the more favorable matchup. Not just in this game, but if it goes to Kilimanjaro, too.
Yeah, could be. We'll talk more about that, but in this game, really felt like Jordan's defense in Feudal Age was the key. Viper was so late to Castle Age, and Viper just got out microed. Jordan's awkward little archer switch with the Spearman Archer combination just held Viper off for long enough. And normally, if you're 3.5 minutes later to the Castle Age, you have at least gained something from it, like killing 3 or 4 villagers. But I don't recall Viper killing anything. And so his army
Jordan was very safe.
Yeah, and Jordan actually had killed a villager prior
yeah.
to that as well, which is wild.
Yeah, and all Feudal, Jordan was just on top of his hill, chopping his 1 or 2 wood lines, and didn't expose any of his eco until he felt safe in the Castle Age, where he could make the camels to fight off Viper scouts or knights or cav archers in the early Castle Age.
I've been really impressed with Jordan today. His awareness on the map and his scouting, his counterattacks, his defense. I mean, the clutch castle there in the middle there, if he didn't do that, it would have changed this game because he would have made a castle elsewhere. Viper could have had a position to push from, but he actually turned that into a defensive castle and then taking Viper's castle out almost instantly. And yeah, Viper, he's going to have to fall back to Arena now, I think, T-West, because that's a map where I think I'd favor him over Jordan, and he did pick it first. Viper the Clown is what we'll see in Game 4, I believe. All right, well, let's do it. We'll catch up to live time. And we had a whole discussion earlier, and I had a discussion with Ornlu yesterday, and everyone's just been talking about, the Liquipedia results in the past and everything that Jordan has struggled to be able to accomplish against the Viper. But right now, Jordan, he's up 2-1 against the Viper, and he is 1 win away from sending himself into the semifinal in Titans League Season 2. Jordan has looked incredibly sharp. He's got his very first civilization pick, the civilization that has terrorized everybody, regardless of what style you play, too, to be honest, and sometimes regardless of the map, in the Hindustanis. And then we've got Viper with the Berbers.
And he's laming. He's gotten 2 goats already, just going right to Viper's base, taking them away. And Viper, if he questions whether or not he spawned with all of his goats, he did. Jordan actually took them this game.
Yeah, Jordan, he's done this every game he can. Just go forward, steal something. And Viper had made a comment about how he is lamed more than ever in this series. Viper, though, I love his build. He actually has gone for a bit of an adaptive build here. He went for the mill before lumber camp. So he's going to bring in the food from the shorefish, and this could lead to a slightly faster feudal. Jordan has gone for the lumber camp first. Not the biggest deal. But yeah, here's the positive thing. The positive thing for Viper is that when this becomes a camel war, which it most likely will, his camels and his stable units in general are just much cheaper. And while the villagers for Hindustanis are cheaper and Hindustanis can probably boom better, this is just not really a map where 3 TC booming is normally a thing. So if Viper wants to get back in this series, he has the tools at his disposal here.
Yeah, and the camel matchup between these civs is pretty interesting because the Hindustanis in equal numbers, they're going to win. It's the Berbers who need to keep their numbers up and make sure that they have enough camels that they can take good fights.
Yeah.
In the late game, that might switch a bit if the Berbers get their castles up and get their healing unique tech for the camels. But until then, Viper needs to be very careful in making sure that he only takes fights when he's confident he has the numbers to win.
Yeah, agreed. Villagers being cheaper can allow you to do wild things with Hindustanis. Jordan's going to click up here. Free and easy 19 population build, getting loom. And it's as standard as you like.
From Jordan. Right in the middle of that acacia forest.
Yeah.
He's going to squeeze it right into that gap. That's... I love seeing the lumber camp placements on this map. Sometimes you find a little gap that's so tempting to put the lumber camp there, even though your vills won't be able to work on it efficiently.
Yeah, I mean...
you might not be able to fit all 5 of them there.
And you're stuck with the lumber camp for longer because the wood has 150 per tree. So if you place a lumber camp that's not efficient and you're hoping to chop through 2 or 3 trees to make it efficient, it's going to take some time. But this is this feels like the game for Jordan, right? If he loses this game, he'll be going on to Viper's home map, and he'll be going onto a map that Viper is very well known for being strong on. Not that Viper is known for being weak on any map, but that combined with the fact that Jordan has chosen his first civilization here. So his very first civ pick was Hindustanis. If he doesn't get this win, you might lean towards Viper, especially with a little bit of momentum heading into that all-deciding Game 5.
Indeed. And it feels like this is a civ matchup that Jordan wanted after he saw that draft and picked the Gajars in that previous game.
For sure. I think Viper's feeling some pressure right now, right? Started off the series as perfect as you would have wanted. He and Jordan are bantering back and forth. They're best buds. And then he's got all this aggression coming in constantly from Jordan all the time. And now Jordan's in Feudal Age faster. He's going to find Viper's Scout and get some really crucial hits here to start off Feudal.
And that's half the HP down already for Viper. He'll run away. But in a Scouts war where both players are adding in that stable now, that's exactly what you don't want to happen. You don't want to have your Scout forward and be the second one up.
I think Viper's got to be like, you've got to be kidding me. Because so often you go forward to scout somebody and their scout isn't there. And their scout's just coming back. And by the time they show up, then at that point, you're already in Feudal Age as well. But Viper with the recovery gets a nice hit there. Jordan wasn't paying attention. Does run away now, but we've got a 20 HP scout versus a 19 HP scout in the field.
And Jordan's just going to wall up. He has that gold that's pretty close to the berries, next to the wood line, and kind of awkward to wall. You don't really have a natural wood line to wall to on this map, but it's close enough to the edge that he'll be able to close it in. And he'll also have a stone and somewhat of a second gold inside of his walls. So this is a great job of walling from Jordan if he gets this up.
And I just think it's, you know how good your civilization is with the faster attacking camels later. Look at this from Jordan, by the way. Look at the quick palisades. He's got to continue to do it here, too. Wow, he's been so on point here. And then meanwhile, Viper looking for damage on the other side. Balls. Yeah, I mean, game one was incredible, right? I know he lost that game, but in game one, he had no business keeping some of those armies out from Viper. And the other thing, too, is he's actually counterattacking simultaneously. So he's not being passive with his army.
The scouts.
Yeah.
And that's when Viper has the defensive spear and he's managing to run away from it. And now he's fully walled. And with just a few scouts, and when you're this far away, this is kind of like that Ghost Lake situation where you're so far away, it's hard to do damage.
Well, I think Jordan will be very happy with how this game's gone. He hasn't even opted to make third scout here, so I guess a second scout if you think about it. He started with the one that's weak. Sometimes you'll see players make an extra one because you don't want to lose these types of engagements in the middle, and I think leftover scouts are always valuable if monks end up coming out. But Viper hasn't been able to do damage.
Very important. And monks are going to be very important on this map when the camels come out, both for converting and also for healing. I feel like healing in the camel fights is so important because the camels don't really kill each other the same way knights do in knight fights. You have a lot that are left over and weak that you can heal up.
Remember, neither civilization gets halberdier, so if we see lots of camels, I would say that you're just not going to see players want to go for pikemen. I don't think it's a good fallback. Another reason for that is they're just so far away from each other. And pikemen are so slow. So I would say it's probably just going to be stable units. And Viper, his opponent's fully walled. He's not yet. But he senses that Jordan might come in that vulnerable left-hand side. Beautiful play. And I think we'll see similar Castle Age times. And I think we'll see a lot of camels.
Yeah, well, we have 31 vills for each. Only 2 seconds of idle time on the TC for the Viper. They're about as even as they can be right now.
And Viper's map.
I'm just kind of passively patrolling with the scouts, getting ready to click up, booming behind like we saw on Ghost Lake.
Yep. Jordan could have switched into archers, could try and be fancy in this game, but he's going to play pretty much how I think Viper expected him to play in the previous game. Just go into stable units. That's what your civ's good at. No crazy switches, but that switch from Jordan was so interesting, man. And again, it was so cool. Like, Viper had fletching before Jordan and everything, and Jordan was still able to out-micro Viper.
And here, Jordan, I feel like the HP on those scouts isn't high enough for him to be able to snipe a bill, even if he does get in.
Agreed. Yeah, it's all vision. It's all for awareness right now. Did you see that little whoop there from Jordan? He split around Viper's scout. Dude, Jordan, I'd be feeling it right now if I was Jordan. I mean, I'd be a little more stressed than he probably is right now because of the magnitude of the moment, but seriously, second stable for Viper, though. This comes as no surprise. We have had 0 kills, 0 deaths. There is tension in the air of all the quarterfinals. And I love Jordan. He's one of my favorite players. But of all the quarterfinals, I would have felt like this would maybe be the one that would be the stompiest, right? And I just felt like Viper 3-1, easy guess. Jordan gets 1 win. Ship it. But suddenly...
You don't want to doubt Jordan.
Yeah, suddenly Jordan could do this.
Like we mentioned before, Jordan, he's familiar with playing the Viper. If there's one person who probably isn't intimidated by the Viper, I would guess it's Jordan, just due to that familiarity. Does Jordan have a hole by that palisade in the lake?
No, I don't think so. He's adding a stable now. Viper will see that, but Viper doesn't see the villagers that are running to the middle right now. Will this be a monastery maybe for Jordan, or a town center up on this gold?
I've seen both.
Yeah.
I've seen both approaches on this map, but I feel like in this matchup you want to go for the monastery against the Berbers, and you can't afford to fall behind in your camel numbers.
Agreed. I wouldn't even mind double, honestly, because everything below this hill can be raided. And he goes double. Dude, this is so good, man. The fact that he snuck out here in the first place is so good. He's now weakening some of the scouts here from Viper. But if Viper doesn't expect this, Viper could donate his first initial camels. And Viper, it could snowball on him hard.
And will Viper see this? He has his camel coming out now, and there it is.
Oh boy, he wants to stop it. The monasteries are going up, though. And his scouts are very weak here. But he's trying to kill the scouts from Jordan. That's a great recovery there from Viper. Well played.
Yeah, the Bills will wall themselves in. But now, while Viper saving Arena for the final game, we might see our clowning before the Arena map comes in.
Yeah,
as we'll have this double monastery monk rush.
Now, the beautiful thing here is you could actually set the gather point for your monks between the monasteries, and they could sit there.
Right. It's a bit awkward to get them to ungarrison, but it'll be just like the elephants in that castle last game.
Yeah, but the pathing sucks sometimes. I've tried it before, and they won't hop out in the spot that you want. And now Jordan's going to move out. Viper's scouts are waiting for monks, but Viper's going to lose that scout, and he's going to lose the next scout as well. Run.
A 1 HP scout.
Oh, it's so important, though, because he could heal that up. The scout is faster, and he can heal it up now. Whew, nice save.
And double monastery from Viper now in defense.
And a town center.
Now it's time to check the monk tech trees of these civs. Do either of them have atonement? The Berbers do. The Hindustanis do not. So if Viper does go for atonement, he could try to convert the monks of Jordan.
I think the most important tech that Viper's missing, and I wasn't reminded of this until that one series between Sito and Tato, but he doesn't have Sanctity. And that could really hurt.
That's true. Yeah, especially against, like, camels without Sanctity can pick off monks decently well, and especially Hindustani camels.
Jordan knows this too. Viper, he got conversions. He's coming in now. He doesn't have light cap yet. He now gets it. So a lot of monks are going to die here. But Jordan's still in the better position here. And I think Jordan just knew it. You don't have Sanctity. I've got to kill you as quick as possible here. And he gets another monk kill. And Viper needs to save that monk. And he saves it. No. But he traps a couple camels here.
And that TC is crucial for the Viper. Being able to retreat to it and fight underneath it with all of that arrow fire. Camels do not like arrows.
I agree with you. However, how difficult is it to just be at the bottom of this hill, right? Eventually, you're going to need wood. Eventually, you're going to be needing to move out. And the camels from Jordan already do attack faster. So, nice save from Viper there. And with the camels already attacking faster, if they have the hill bonus as well, it can be extremely painful for you.
And that's a great map control from Jordan still with the monks. And the monks are a bit... like, it's so cheap just to keep adding in monks if you go for this monk rush. Even though Viper has the cheaper camels, it's hard to keep adding them in.
Yeah, it's because of the food, right? It's easier to just have a crap ton on gold. And that's what Jordan has done. He's got 20 on gold. And he's also used the market and he sold off resources earlier too. So this will be interesting.
On stone now.
Yeah, it's going to be the villagers in the middle there. But you see how he just continues to... oh, no, he didn't sell it, excuse me. He now drops the second TC. My bad.
Or, no, he did sell it, but that's those villas in the middle on the stone are how he gets the TC up.
Yeah, I guess he did. A mix of both. Sold it before, mined the stone later. So Jordan looking to push, and this is never a bad thing, just to eliminate a stable from the player who's under pressure. And Viper is very much under pressure. He does not have the camel numbers or the monk numbers. It should be very difficult for him to come back in this situation.
Yeah, and that's the Hindustani camel bonus. They attack not only faster, but have a bonus against the buildings.
Look at that from Jordan. That was interesting. He said, okay, I'll let you convert my camels. I'll just convert them back. And then Viper deleted. And yeah, as the stable melts, Jordan is being way more aggressive than I expected. But Viper, he's still going to lose his stable here as the light cav are waiting for monks. And there's a lot of blue dots on Viper's camels. Those will be conversions.
He needs to retreat behind the TC and just find some TC fire to take out the monks, which he might do here.
Oh man, that's a lot of light cav though. 6 light cav. If they can get in close and kill these monks, Viper with the light cav, boom. Boom. Monks are dying. Maybe a moment now for Viper to take a fight. This is ridiculous.
He only got 2 monks.
That's true. We got 3 now.
Oh, the TC gets 1 though.
Oh god. I mean, again, the things you can't account for is the healing. And then the attack speed as well. You also have a lot more idle time for Viper because he's in and out of his TCs. His monks don't have sanctity, though. Jordan sees the monks. Viper hasn't saved his monks. There's still monks for Jordan. Viper needs to kill them desperately, or he might not have a chance here.
And the light cav are jumping on them.
And the light cav will get them. I think he's held. He's taking a better fight. There's a monk there from Jordan. There's no more light cav. The fight's taken. But the light cav is there. What? Oh my.
Viper holds under those TCs.
Oh my god, that was insane.
You're just so low eco in this fight too, because your TCs are garrisoned. If you look at the blacksmith upgrades, it's only 1 upgrade for both players. No real camel upgrades, no even fletching on the TC for Viper. But after that, it's going to be easier for him to keep adding the camels. He has the villager lead now, and his camels are cheaper.
And he needs to be active with those light cav. Heal up your camels and just wait, and then try and catch Jordan in a moment of weakness and just snipe a couple more monks. But man, what an impressive hold. I mean, and the level is so high in this series, guys. Like, every little moment in this game could have swung either way. It's a 36 to 26 KD for the Snake, but he is leading somehow.
And I think that TC fire was the trick there. Without those TCs garrisoned, he doesn't win that fight.
Yep.
Jordan's camels are just so much better than his. But now you're kind of getting to the point where you have that eco, and as the Berbers, you can start adding in your stables again and start spamming those camels.
And if Jordan doesn't have Atonement, he doesn't have an easy answer to the monks, and Viper could convert all these camels. Jordan has to make a decision here on what he does. Because his TC could be denied. I mean, 2 villagers could be converted as well, and Jordan knows it. Viper doesn't seem to care about the villagers. He'll kill 1 monk, and Jordan will go in to kill the monks. Viper's camels weren't there for a buffer, but he will get tons of conversions here.
And that was great for Viper, and Jordan calls it.
Woo! Boy, what a game! I was so nervous for Viper, and Viper ties it up 2-2. That was a beautiful hold. It really felt like all the bonuses that the Hindustanis have, the fact that Jordan was up 2-1, the fact that Jordan had the hill, all those things combined here, T-West, made me feel like Jordan really had the lead, but maybe he forced the issue a little bit too much. Viper does have a way of like soaking up that pressure and then countering.
He holds on.
Yeah, he just holds on. He probably would have won the game from here, right? He probably still would have denied the TC in some way with a monk. He would have dropped his 3rd, and Jordan knew it. We will go to Arena, Viper's home map, for game number 5 to see who's the winner of this quarter. And both players deserve to be heading to this game 5, and both players have plenty of opportunity.
Absolutely, and it feels like Jordan has played extremely well, but he's just up against the Viper.
Yeah, that's like a Viper thing. And again, the stakes of the situation, being down 2-1, having lost 2 straight. By the way, conversions. 14 conversions for Viper, and then 7 desertions. So he had a 2-to-1 conversion rate. A lot of that happened near the end there, but I think that the conversions and the TC, as you mentioned, was what made the difference for the Snake.
And the TCs helped the monks of the Viper get those conversions, because Jordan couldn't really dive with his camels under those TCs and get those conversions like Viper could as he was defending.
Well, we are here. It is Britons versus Bengalis. We I've seen Viper in the yellow as the Britons so many times before. I have memories of 2015, Masters of Arena 3. Britons for him, Celts for MBL. Don't know how many of you guys have been around since then. But what was that, 8 years ago now? Yeah. Anyways, it's a civ that he's always been good with on all maps. He's gone for it here in Arena. And he's got a pretty good map with a nice back gold, nice back stone. Does have some of his gold forward. Yeah, 2 boars as well. I think Jordan's map is also good, and Jordan's got a civilization that just helps you by existing, right? You get +2 villagers when you get to Feudal out of that TC, and +2 vills when you get to Castle. And then even later on, if you drop more town centers in Castle and hit Imp, boom, 2 more villagers out of each town center. So that's nice. I'm still not entirely sure if their army composition has what it takes to beat the Britons. What do you think?
If it goes super late, I think they do. I think the Britons really can struggle against a big mass of elephant archers, but that's also super expensive.
Yeah.
And in the early game, well, they have options if they want to go aggressive. They can go for some type of really all-in monk rush, but usually that's not what you see against the Britons.
Yeah, it's true.
The extra range on their archers is usually pretty good at defending against that, even if the monks do have that extra pierce armor.
Yeah, the elephant archers have been strong in so many games with the Bengalis. I think the one side note to that is if Viper has a forward position and he also has Warwolf Trebs, I'm not sure how long those elephant archers are going to survive. I haven't actually seen Warwolf Trebs hit elephants, but I know Warwolf Trebs are just another tool that the Britons have to stop you from pushing them, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if they're the greatest unit to have against the elephants, but it is certainly, it's not something I've seen against the new elephant archers.
Yeah.
And it could be an interesting strategy. You get that forward castle and then just try to hold it with the Trebs, especially since Bengalis don't have bombard cannons. It's going to be mostly those elephants and their own Trebs.
Well, so you always have the main gold, and then you have a 4-tile gold also within your walls, and then there's a 4-tile gold and stone outside your walls. So in Viper's case, the golds are pretty much in the same spot, but they're not exactly in the same spot. In Jordan's position, you do have the neutral gold, or sorry, your third gold next to your second. So that could be a real worry against the Britons here. The relics seem
they're pretty close,
as even as possible. With 5 relics, you've got one in the middle, and you got others kind of in a star shape around. And then the neutral golds are actually a little bit closer to Jordan. So I guess, like, obviously, if you get a castle and both your golds there, that sucks. But also, if you defend that area, you've got the neutral golds a bit closer to you, which could be super valuable here.
Yeah, neutral gold's a bit closer to Jordan, but the neutral stone's also closer to Viper. So
Yeah.
I don't know, which do you usually prefer, the golds or the stones? And I think that can depend on the civ matchup here. But if you're the Britons, I think the stone can actually be more important in some situations if you want to get those castles up and hold your forward position.
Yeah, I agree. Stones could be really important because it's a progression of castles that you go for. So you want your first castle to protect one stone, and then the next castle was on a neutral stone, and then the next castle is in their base after you've trebbed in and want to be aggressive. So it's situational. I agree with you. Having 2 golds in your walls is more than enough for most of the game. There's the only point where you running out of gold will really happen, I think, in this matchup is if you've been far too defensive or if your opponent's been incredibly aggressive. I just don't know if that'll happen here. Like, I guess Bengalis have a crazy monk rush, but I just kind of feel like with both of these two, it being the 5th game in this crazy quarterfinal, we're just going to see economy competing for relics, and then they'll open with whatever they end up deciding on later on.
So I'm looking at Viper, and he actually is just luring in his second boar because he didn't scout it all the way at the back of his base.
I see him bringing it in.
Like
it
7 minutes in.
Yeah, I was going to comment how that's a little late. And I mean,
he didn't scout it. He might have been wondering, does this map have one boar again?
I mean, you would hope not, right? And I mean, you got nothing better to do at this point. Where was it, actually? I'm going to look. Where was that boar?
It's by that little dirt patch at the back near the edge of the map.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so he found it with the sheep. I mean, his scout was in the middle of the map, right? But I guess he just didn't think about it at that time. I mean, that could definitely have some type of an effect, as I'll go to live time now, but Like, you need to make sure that your uptime is a little faster with the civilization that eats sheep as quickly as the Britons do. But he's going to go for the classic Viper casual uptime. A lot of these arena guys are going up on like 23, 24 pop. And he's going to go up on even 27, which is very old school.
You don't really see that these days. Sometimes if you want to go for like a defensive castle drop and you're not trying to get it forward really early, you do that. But he's going 27, going for the barracks. Question is, does he do scouts or archers after this? Because as the Britons, you could do either. And we already have seen archers with Britons today, even though it was a bit of a different build.
Yeah, I think the reason Viper likes this is because, and Viper, you've got to, okay, he fixed the gold miner. The reason Viper likes this is because when you go for the fast up times, you're at the limit at times. You might not be able to make a scout for 30 seconds. You might not be able to get an eco upgrade for an extra minute. Viper's going to be in a spot where, as Jordan says, yo, where he could go for the scouts and I think 2 immediate TCs and maybe even that monastery when he hits the castle age. So he should be in a good position there. Oh my god, the deer was trolling Jordan?
Oh, it's outside the gate.
Wait, what happened?
Just deer outside.
Hold on, I need to rewatch this.
Yeah, so there is a trick where if you push the deer, it runs along the wall and you can open the gate and it runs through. Usually that's to push the deer into your base. Now he's just gonna sit there and hold it open and hope that the deer gets bored and tries to walk back.
Yeah, so you're right. That's precisely what he has to do, and the deer's not walking back. Jordan's like trying to get this thing to de-aggro. Oh my god. Well, okay, Viper didn't have a boar in game 2. And in game 5, the deer is running away from Jordan. I guess this is nature trying to heal itself?
I guess so.
What is going on? Why is that not going back?
Just DE things. You know, I have this subtle feeling that DE changed the way boars and deer walk back.
Okay.
Because you never see a boar immediately walk back when you garrison the hunter and the TC
yeah,
now,
you're
right?
right.
It always stands for a moment.
I think you're right. Yeah, I didn't think about it with deer, but I mean, come on. Normally it goes back at this point. I think what Jordan would have to do is he would have to hit it, like go up to it and make it move again, and then let it be and see if it goes home. But I mean, the bright side for Jordan, you still get 2 extra vills when you make it to Feudal. He still can get his eco upgrades. And, you know, thankfully he doesn't have a bad civ here because Bengalis are still insane. That's funny, though. I don't know if the deer's going to sit there all game. We'll keep an eye on it. And Viper's up as well now with his stable at home.
Yep, and we see a barracks from Jordan. He's gone very heavy on gold so far. So it looks like this could this be a monk rush from him? Barracks for a few spears, a couple of monasteries. We have seen Ganji do this a couple times in this tournament, but you don't really see the full clown monk rush as often as you used to, especially with the prevalence of scouts so much on Arena.
I realized I was 2 minutes behind you. I'm now seeing the barracks. I now see the monastery. Yeah, I mean, he's probably going to go spears and monks. Bengali monks do take extra hits from scouts. So, you know, having that extra armor is helpful. But Viper not only will see the monastery, but he's going to see those golds too. So that'll be something that Viper will keep in mind for later on. And he also sees the barracks.
And he sees the deer.
Yeah, and the deer is still standing there as well. But you see what I mean about what Viper can afford? He gets to the next stage, and he goes husbandry, which is still a little bit of a surprise.
Have you ever seen that? I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever seen an Arena player do that right away.
I see Lycav first every time, which is making me think that maybe it was a misclick, but he must really want to kill that scout. So that's what husbandry will help with. He's going to kill that scout because he got husbandry, as long as he doesn't block his own scout. It's worth it to even lose a scout to kill that, maybe. There you go.
And he gets it.
That's sick.
Oh, there goes the deer. It's now walking back.
Viper won't even notice. That won't even feel abnormal at this point because he's so focused on everything else. And that speed! That speed from Viper's enough. He's going to kill that monk. Hey, let the deer in.
And
let the deer in, monk. Let the deer. Hold the gate. Let the deer in.
Up.
Okay, Lycav killing the spearman, and so far so good for the Viper. He kills everything he sees. He's killed the spearman,
Absolutely.
he's killed the scout, and he has killed the monk.
And, well, that later uptime lets him afford all those upgrades, not just husbandry and light cav, but also forging.
Mm-hmm.
And light cav plus forging, that's going to help counteract all of that extra armor those monks have. And Jordan's going to have trouble moving out.
Yeah,
And not only will it counteract the monks, it'll let him kill the spears.
it's also just crazy how bold Viper is being here. He's actually going for the forward relic. He could just get the other relics right now, but he fully believes that he's able to get this. In the event that he doesn't, though, and then Jordan ends up getting some of the other relics later on, this is going to be seen as a big thing for Viper that he might regret. Goes for a conversion on the Spearman T-West, and he's going to loop in, little loop-de-loop, and goes in for monks with all the light cav with forging. They're Bengali monks. He loses one. He's going to kill Jordan's monks, though.
One light cav?
Just very awkward. The units are all bumping into each other constantly here, but in the end, Viper kills more monks.
Did he use all of his monks on one light cav there?
I'm going to assume so, because he
converting.
Yeah, he didn't try for more conversions, so I'm going to assume so. But I really would have preferred Viper go for the closer relics there. And he says, where did you learn that? No response.
In the south, Viper is picking up a relic, a little sneaky down there. And using all the monks on one light cav does make it more likely to get the conversion on it. So now Jordan can try to stop Viper from getting those monks, or from getting those relics with his monks.
And that's a huge thing, right? 3 TCs soon for both players. Jordan just now getting his third. Viper's produced more villagers, but he didn't get the bonus villagers, obviously. And overall, I think it's still pretty even game. Again, as we've stated, even if things go wrong for you as Bengalis, so many things have already gone right at the start. And that should be a dead monk for the Viper. And Viper still wanting to know where Jordan learned how to convert light cav. But I think it was just all the monks going for the conversion.
Just all the monks.
Instead of an individual monk, because the individual monk wouldn't have been able to do it.
And that deer is still out there. It's been trying to get through that gate this entire game. Every time something walks through it, it makes a little run towards it.
It's trying to go home.
Now it's just stuck there. Oh, there it goes.
But had Viper just gotten the relic that Jordan's getting now, with that monk, he would have already had it, right? And so now he's sitting at just one relic, and there's a light cav out there to contest him. So,
And he'll likely get this one right by his gate.
Yep.
But that one in the middle, they're still going to fight over.
Yeah, I think Viper could definitely end up getting them. Viper with a split move going in. These are Bengali monks, guys. Can the light cav kill them? There's a conversion again. And we have... Oh, my God. These things are so strong. And now Viper loses his monk. Viper might only get 3 relics here, T-West.
And Jordan feels like things worked out for him. Not only did he get those conversions, but he didn't invest all that food into the scouts, into the upgrades, and he was still up earlier. And if you look at the vill count, they're equal right now.
Yep.
And he hasn't had all that investment into the scouts.
They're
Viper's going to add in a 4th TC.
Yeah. I think this should really tell you, though, how insane Bengali monks are, because Viper invested so much. He went husbandry, which of course just helps the speed. But he went forging and he went light cav. And that's very rare. Usually you don't see light cav and forging. And still, Jordan ended up converting 2 or 3 different light cav in this game. Just ridiculous.
And that still comes down to Viper being greedy. He could have taken the relics on his side first. He tried to extend and get that one from Jordan before all of the monks came out, but wasn't in time.
I'd love this.
2 to 3.
Sorry to interrupt here. You feel like we got nothing to talk about till Imp, but I'd love to see Jordan go forward with the Siege Workshop right now. You've got more light cav than Viper. You've got all these monks and spears, and the last thing you want is for the Britons to be able to have an easy build-up. The last thing you want Viper to have is an easy build-up towards Imp. So there's no better time to just walk forward with a villager or 2 and apply some pressure. It doesn't have to end the game, but you want Viper's first castle to be behind his walls so you can buy yourself some time.
And there's that outpost forward from Jordan right now, and he's even doing atonement so he can convert that monk of Viper that's inside the walls and just give him a bit more room to move forward.
Yeah, this is so good. And Viper will know this too. Like, Viper will know exactly what Jordan should do from that position. The only thing he won't know is atonement's in. So he better hope that he doesn't move out too far with his monk. But it almost seems like he's even scared of that possibility, as he doesn't even get close to the walls. And Viper is going to click up to Imp here. He will have to drop a castle in his base. Seems like he could do that just fine, but he better do it quickly.
And this is where that late game matchup starts to come in. What do the Britons do when Jordan starts adding in elephants? Because he's going to have a good eco. It's 82 vills as you're getting close to that point where you're thinking about clicking up. And then he's just going to get extra vills from those TCs when he hits imp.
There's so many things that monks can do for you here. And we see it more and more these days. That monk could convert a vill. And then you can make an outpost in there to see what Viper's doing. He's actually switching conversions. Just trying to idle the wood line. Gets the conversion. Viper then has the garrison. Idle time. Just annoyance.
But if you didn't realize already, that's just going to show Viper had... Oh, he didn't actually see the stone mine. I thought he'd see all the villagers on stone there, but now he just sees the TC.
Yeah, that's true. But, I mean, he knows the castle's going up already. He's just made one elephant. And now he's able to freely move out to the middle of the map to plan for his option. So I think we're going to see skirmishers initially from Jordan. But there is a world with this economy that he feels like he could actually just get away with going straight into elephant archers. And that is going to be the toughest unit for the Britons to counter.
Yeah, and Viper is up to imp a bit faster. But it's not like he's in a position to be aggressive with it. He's still going to be contained in his base because of all those conversions Jordan had.
Jordan dropping the ranges now, getting ranged upgrades. So we'll see if he researches Elite Skirm or not. The reason I say Elite Skirm is just because it's cheaper. And it gives yourself time to get more villagers. Like, 100 villagers is great. But once you reach Imp here, after having what will be 5 TCs, you get a 10 villager boost. And then your resources soon after start to look good for Elephant Archers. But Jordan's going to need to scout here. If he can see the additional stables from Viper, this will be a massive find. And, oh, man, he knows now that Viper's going to commit more to Cav. Interesting.
Interesting that Viper's going to do that, because if you look at his blacksmith upgrades, he hasn't really committed either way into the fletching line or any of the Cav upgrades.
True. He did snipe a monk in the middle with light Cav right now. He might be looking for the other monks. Always valuable to kill some monks, because monks can heal and do other things too. And there you go. Because some good kills from Viper, so some revenge. And then Viper's going to see the ranges, and he's going to see the Elephant Archers. So Jordan's opening with Elephant Archers. Viper could also potentially deny that castle. Looks like he's distracted in his base, trying to kill a monk, and he will kill the monk after he killed the elephant, ramming down, I guess, his stable.
And as Jordan gets up to Imp, he does have one key advantage, and that is the deer has returned inside of his base.
Oh, the deer's come home. Well, I'm a little worried for Viper here, right? We've seen the Bengalis dominate so many times. Viper doesn't have the relic advantage. He doesn't have the villager lead. And the Elephant Archers are a high pierce armor unit, which neutralizes the best type of unit that the Britons like to make. So Viper should still probably commit towards some archers, but he's actually going to queue up Skirmisher, and he's going to think light Cav and Skirm, and that's just... It's maybe a good idea, but it's just not what you need to kill these Elephant Archers.
Yeah, it's like the Britons don't really have a good unit for killing them.
Yep.
Maybe they could go Onager at some point, but these things are just so tanky. They have that resistance to the bonus damage. Britons don't have the greatest monks, and are they just going to do skirms? They create them faster, but other than that, it's difficult to find an army composition here for Viper.
It's definitely a numbers thing, and when Viper pushes forward with Trebs the first time, that might be the key time. You get too many skirmishers and light cav for your opponent to deal with just Elephant Archers, and then you use 4 or 5 trebuchets and you batter down everything Jordan has in the front. That's how you win this game. It's not going to be easy, especially because Viper is incredibly late with blacksmith upgrades. What is this? Feudal Age armor just now? He's had so much time.
Especially for light cav that are going to be fighting against Elephant Archers.
I mean, they did take a good fight, but I feel like Imp armor could have come in right now off this economy from Viper. So, anyways.
That's what you get when you're trying to do 2 unit lines, right? He has to do all the upgrades for the archers and the skirms and the cav.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Viper's no stranger to the double blacksmith. He's doing it now. But let's see how good these Elephant Archers actually are, T-West, because they're not elite yet. They're still missing upgrades. And I've seen instances where straight Elephant Archers isn't the key in early Imp. It's just so tough to get the mass, and elite skirms could sometimes be enough to counter them.
And especially since the Britons can add those skirmisher numbers in so fast, and Viper has 4+ ranges already pumping them out, 7 ranges with some in the back too.
There's Warwolf, by the way.
We'll get back to that. Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to get back to that question you said earlier. Warwolf Trebs, how do they do against Elephant Archers?
Well,
I've never seen it.
They do amazing in defense.
Okay.
Like, they will absolutely help you win the Treb war. So if Jordan tries to push, which he might be tempted to do, that could be seen as a mistake. Viper's almost waiting for it, too. Look at these Trebs. He's actually going to go for the outpost now. All right, Jordan. Viper's got 30 skirmishers. And Jordan's still taking fights with Elephant Archers that are non-elite. I don't think he has Pakes yet, so I don't think that unique tech is applying. We still haven't seen Mahayana, which is kind of tough to afford with the Bengalis, but the Bengalis sometimes want to go for. And Viper's skirms have been enough. He's buying himself time to get some cav in the mix, too. And his army count's growing.
And I wonder how Viper's going to deal with the armored elephants now. A key to the Britons usually is having some type of ram unit in your composition. And well, these aren't siege rams, but they can be upgraded to siege elephants. They're a bit different. Like we saw, they can garrison in the castle somehow.
Yeah.
But they're sometimes not as easy to pick off with melee units, except for the Halbline.
Well, Viper sees that castle, and he's going to be very excited that Jordan has given them this opportunity. He's just going to simply move out here and try and treb that one down. Jordan will try and defend it. Jordan will have, it's called Siege Elephant, I guess. It's not Elite Armored Elephant. Whatever it's called, he's going to have
it's just
that.
Siege Elephant.
Yeah, he's going to have that available here soon. He's also moving forward with his trebs, by the way. So both players with trebs on either side. Viper's decision is light cab, by the way, as he goes for Yeoman, which doesn't apply to his skirms at all. It doesn't apply to a single unit he's making, but Viper will defend his trebuchets.
Yeah, he will. The only thing that can threaten the trebs right now are those siege elephants. The elephant archers, they do pierce damage. Trebs don't care about that. They have 150 pierce armor.
You do a Warwolf volley on these.
Kill these things.
Yeah, I feel like you gotta, after you take out the castle, you do a quick Warwolf volley on the units for Jordan.
Yeah, especially the skirms.
Right here, let's see. Well, he didn't hit. We know what it'll do against skirms, Viper. Show us on the elephants.
Yeah, do our experiment for us.
It's pretty good. It's actually really good. And he only has one light cav, but if he could get more on the Jordan's trebuchets, you could maybe breathe again. Remember, Viper hasn't been able to take any of the gold or stone outside of his walls yet, guys. This has been bad as far as resource availability goes.
Yeah, but now I'm just worried, how does Viper deal with these armored elephants? Jordan's starting to add in the blacksmith upgrades for them. As he upgrades the light cav, those will affect the elephants too, and just make it more difficult for Viper's light cav to pick them off.
Wait, this does apply to skirms now? Oh, forgive me. Did they change that at some point, T-West? The skirms have +1 range?
They have 5+4.
I didn't know that upgrade applied to skirms. Since when?
I guess since a while ago. I don't remember it changing anytime soon.
Oh, okay.
Or anytime recently.
All right, maybe it's always been the case, and I never knew. Viper killing villagers on the gold and the stone here. And so that's good. And
It's
Jordan
that way?
is going for... Yeah, I didn't know that. I genuinely
That's what
always...
my chat's telling me.
Yeah, I genuinely always thought it only applied to the foot archers. But anyways, full skirm from Viper is working. We do finally have the elephant archers in their final form, though. So they're elite, as they weren't before. Viper desperately needs to push this ball because he doesn't have the relic count and he doesn't have the neutral gold control right now.
And look at Viper's resources. He has 2k wood and 2k gold, but can he spend it on anything when he's just making skirms and light cav?
I think we might see longbows from Viper because he's destroying these elephant archers. Full skirm opening has been amazing, and Jordan is going to prep stables to go light cav. But Jordan doesn't really have the light cav out just yet. There's a window for Viper here. And then if he sees that there's going to be light cav, which he just now spotted, if you look to the north, he could go Arbalest, excuse me. He's not going to try the longbows, and the Arbalest will do a great job against those light cav.
Yeah, he's not going to be as greedy going for the unique unit as he was in that Ghost late game. He's going to use all those ranges for their production.
Yep.
If he makes that switch.
It's Viper's home map. It's the civilization that Viper has known so well for years and years. And while he's had the turtle up and some things have gone awkward for him here, He seems to be the one with the momentum. You still have Jordan with the more expensive army. But the thing about the Britons is how many units they can field and how quickly they can field it, especially from those ranges. And let's see if Viper can take out castles. I'm a little surprised he hasn't tried to actually prioritize the castles with these Trebs. He's just kind of prioritizing a couple of the archer ranges, and suddenly the mass of elephant archers is looking much larger for Jordan.
And that's the thing, there's so much more population efficient than the skirms, and even when you have a lot of skirms out, they don't really pick them off that well. You can micro and shoot them down one at a time, but your skirms just get picked off by everything that's out here.
Yep. And the Arbalests do 1 damage a hit, I believe, because of the Pierce armor. So the skirms are relying on some bonus damage, but it's a crazy fight here. I mean, the thing to remember, after Mahayana was researched, Jordan's villagers take up less population space, so he should be able to out-pop, but it's still costly. And the skirms are, despite, you needing so many of them, are still doing enough. The Werewolf Trebs are still weakening these elephants.
And the Trebs are the key. They just need one good shot. And I feel like Viper could even use more Trebs here.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, the Trebs have been huge. I mean, weakening a unit that's on 300 HP down to half of whatever it started with is massive damage. But
and now Viper didn't have his blacksmith upgrades before, but he has all of them, so he can even add in a few halbs to help pick off these siege elephants.
yeah, the siege elephants have actually made such a big difference every time we see a fight. Jordan needs to be... I also really like the light cap. Jordan really needs to make sure that he has light cap. And I'm just not seeing much in queue from him. This is a grind, though, and the grindy games always go to the player that has had neutral gold control and has had the relics. So Jordan has completed 1 neutral gold. The other neutral gold he can't easily take because it's in the north, but he's on his way right now.
Yeah, and that map control for Jordan is going to be huge, as he also has that neutral stone in the north by his Trebs that he can try to take later, too.
Yep. I've loved Viper's micro. I think Viper's had to work a little bit harder in this game. He's had to be more creative, as we said. The Bengalis have so many fun bonuses to work with. Viper's massing more Trebs. It feels like he knows that this is maybe his time where he has to end up pushing out. And he's producing a little bit of everything. Jordan sees that castle. Jordan's going to bring his Trebs forward, but there's a Werewolf Treb that spots that. And this is the moment for Viper. If he can defend this castle, take out those Trebs, and somehow kill this giant, hefty ball, he could be okay here. Oh, God.
And this is the thing. Werewolf Trebs are so efficient at killing enemy Trebs because the shots actually hit. 1 goes down already. Viper can repair. He needs to take out another Treb, though. Ooh. Are his Trebs in range? They're packing and unpacking.
Viper didn't have masonry. Masonry could be the difference between keeping this castle up or losing it. His Trebs will fire. There's siege elephants on the way as well. He'll lose the castle. No masonry is a big tech to miss there.
And he wasn't repairing with all his vills either. He repairs with a couple more vills, and he takes out those Trebs. And something was going on with the packing and unpacking of those Trebs. They weren't shooting at Jordan's Trebs as efficiently as they should have been.
I mean, the Trebs are the key here for Viper, right? He's got to repair these. He's trying to shoot on the skirms. This is such an awkward army to control for both players right now. Viper is saving his arms.
Especially with
he still has 4 Trebs. Yep. What in the world is this game? This is a crazy series, man. We are, what is this, 2.5 hours for a best of 5, and this game still 200 pop for both players.
Do you think Viper would have room to add Onager here just to have something that actually can push the skirms away, or maybe even threaten the elephant archers better?
I think it's too much to ask with how aggressive this game is right now. There's too many small details that you need to pay attention to, and if you slip up with production for 1 second, you're going to lose this game. So I have belief in his composition. Again, the main aspect is just how long can he afford it, and he still hasn't made a lot of ground here. He's going to try and take out some of Jordan's Trebs. He will fail to do that, but he's continued to defend his own Trebs too.
These siege elephants are making such a strong push towards those Trebs, even with the few halbs mixed in.
I think, we're not that far away from Viper being out of gold if he doesn't advancing. He does, actually, as I say that, he actually has a lot more gold than I anticipated, but if he's not advancing with Werewolf Trebs and everything that we've seen here, advantage Jordan in my opinion. Because the elephant archers are just so hard to kill. The elephant archers he has in the field right now are just enough as long as he always has the meat shield. Oh, God, look at Jordan. He's like, I don't have Warwolf, so I'm just going to make more trebs than you? What?
He's got 6 trebs.
Dude. That was actually pretty crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, packed trebs die in 1 hit.
Yeah.
So if you get it at the right moment, it's gone.
I don't know if I've ever seen someone run away from a fight with Britain trebs. That's rare.
When you only have 2 trebs like that,
yeah,
it's hard.
Probably the right play, I guess. You know,
it takes 3 treb shots to destroy a treb, so as long as there are repair vills, even if you only have 2, you're not going to win.
Yeah. The elephant archers, man, they're just always there. Jordan's always producing more of them. They get so many kills. 30 kills in this one group. And there's more trebs from Jordan as he continues the treb creep. And he forces Viper to pack up with his own trebuchets. But I like the patience from Viper here. He won't lose those 2 trebuchets, and he knows he'll have more in a second. But he just has to be patient and wait it out and hope that Jordan continues to advance forward and that Warwolf pays off.
And just these elephant archers, they keep being produced.
Yep.
Jordan still has vills on gold. And I think Viper is waiting. Will this gold run out? But Jordan still has a 2nd gold in his base that he hasn't taken yet.
Jordan just had full map. Also, Jordan didn't have pikes this whole time. So now his elephant archers are attacking 20% faster. That makes a bit more sense for me. The fact he didn't have that upgrade explains a lot.
And he doesn't have iron casting on his light cap either. He's still only on forging.
I think Viper could be dead here, guys. I think Jordan could be moving on. I know that Viper has more pop, but he doesn't have the population efficiency. He doesn't have the units. He needs to take out Jordan's trebuchets. And it's a really hard one to cast because we just don't know when these elephants are actually going to freaking die. But, you know, we still wait to see. We got trebs on either side here, and Light Cav come in.
Trebs.
Oh my God, this is insane. It's so messy, man. Both players losing trebs at the same time.
Feels like Viper's taking out the trebs, but he needs to keep his trebs alive just a bit longer.
The elephant archers, though, still 25 of them. Jordan's still pushing. Maybe he doesn't have faith, though. He's going to back up. Are you kidding me? He's going to back up, and he's going to lose another treb and another treb after that. What?
The thing is just these elephant archers, how do you kill them? They don't even die to the skirms.
Without Warwolf, though, Viper's completely dead. 10 minutes ago, right? Like, Jordan would have changed his approach entirely.
Yeah, I agree.
The elephant, the Warwolf upgrade is such an interesting tool for the Britons. Viper has 1,700 gold, and obviously he knows the stakes of this game. He's not going to quit anytime soon. A just ridiculous game here. He's going to have to grind Jordan down. Jordan's got 3 castles along the middle. Jordan is 92 on food, but it seems like he just can't get enough of it. It seems like he needs 130 on food somehow.
And if you look at the stone counts, Jordan's going to be repairing and going under 650. Viper can still afford another castle and actually 2 castles.
True.
And still have stone left over to repair.
It feels
so even
like
if he gets pushed back, he can make a hold in his base.
Ooh, this is big though. Viper has lost a couple trebs now, and he was sniping Jordan's trebs, but the siege elephants there took out 2 trebuchets. And remember, he has limited gold income. So he needs those castles to produce trebs again, and he only has 2 castles, and he's actually pop locked, so he can't produce more right now. But his light cav should take it. I think Viper should just send his light cav, and you could take out that treb no problem.
Yeah, that 1 treb will be annoying, but you have the vills there you can repair against 1 treb. 1 treb really isn't a problem. It's when you get 4 or 5 trebs that it becomes really scary.
I wonder if Jordan... I feel like Jordan should siege elephant push Viper's barracks on the side. Like, he keeps trying to force the fight right through the middle, and I get it. But also, Viper's doing a lot of reacting here. And if you allow Viper to pick the fights, it seems like Viper's going to, at least with Warwolf, be able to have some pretty nice engagements here. Viper's treb just stopped firing, by the way. He's going to have to fix that. He should be attacking that castle. Jordan making more trebs.
I feel like Viper can be very patient. Like, he doesn't need to push, and it feels like he's in a position where he's able to let Jordan come to him, and he's willing to defend.
Yeah, I know, which makes it so tricky, right? It's really complicated for both these two to know exactly what to do. I just love how we've seen all the bonuses at play. We've seen both unique techs from the Britons. We've seen both unique techs from the Bengalis. We have the arena powerhouse of olds. Even look how Viper positions his arbs, by the way. Yeah, the skirms can be vulnerable against Lightcav, but he always has his arbalest right behind those skirms. So they're helping out a lot, and many of the Lightcav die before the units close in there.
But now that they have this little brief pause, Jordan has remasked some elephant archers and is getting back to about 23 of them. And he's making another push towards that castle, and Viper, he hasn't been able to make trebs. His queues have been so filled that the castle just hasn't made any more trebs.
Yeah, you almost need to cancel other units. That was good from Viper to take out a siege workshop, but if he loses his castle, Jordan is one step closer to getting this win and moving on to the semi. He's still got...
took out the treb.
Yeah, the Viper is producing 2 trebs, but he suddenly doesn't have any, and Jordan's got 34 Lightcav in queue. Jordan's got 4 trebs firing. Is this the beginning of the end for Viper?
Feels like it. Viper, he has all that gold, but what's he going to spend it on? He's just making full trash units against elephant archers.
And if the army count's the same, our feeling has been that the Bengalis dominate. Not to mention that Jordan, due to having that other unique tech, can always have more villagers. So he's been at 145 eco, and he's at 60 army. What a win this would be for Jordan. Viper still got gold, but if he doesn't have the castles, man, he just can't do it. And now Jordan's in. Jordan's going to start to raid a little bit, too.
All those Lightcav running right to the back of Viper's eco. He does have a lot of TCs, but it's the point where you don't want to really garrison and idle your farmers either.
What about Cavalier for Viper?
He's struggling for food.
What about, instead of Lightcav, what about Cavalier here? Something that's a little bit stronger.
They still die to the elephant archers.
Yeah, maybe. He's working on just running through here, Viper. He's like, I need to defend from this. I need to kill these elephant archers. He's sacrificing such large groups of skirmishers to get there. But his Warwolf Treb, are you kidding? His Warwolf Trebs are actually defending. There's only 16 elephant archers. Jordan's going to lose a couple of these Trebs. Granted, he's still mining gold, so that might not be that big a deal. But Viper holds again. The snake will not die.
He will not, and it feels like whenever they have a pause and Jordan can get the elephant numbers up, he can push, but then Viper finds some way to hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, that was. I think, honestly, that might have come down to Jordan forgetting to queue elephants or not being able to queue elephants, because while he's had gold, they are still extremely expensive. Look at this, man. Jordan is now relying only on relic gold. He's mined all the gold in the map, and Viper's just still picking off those elephant archers. Jordan actually out-microing ballistics.
And in front of his base. If Viper needs gold, he still has access to it.
I think we might see a similar quote from Jordan in this game. Come on, man. Can you stop playing so good against me? Like, come on. How is Viper alive? How is he alive? He has no business being alive here. And now the trebs from Jordan are exposed, and the Cavalier switch is perfect.
And there are the Cavaliers.
What?
And he's doing it when the elephant archer numbers are low. They're not in their 20s. They're down to about 18. And that was the perfect timing for the Cav switch.
What in the world, man? So now Viper needs a way to defend his own trebs, as he wants to be able to push Jordan's castles. Jordan has like 40 kills on that castle. He's got 20 on that castle, 20 on that castle. He's got so many kills with his unit. I mean, the KD is better for him, but it's the cost here, T-West. The cost is the issue. And Viper, also having researched guilds a long time ago, sold off a lot of resources to bank up gold, maybe for this very moment. And now it's just mainly Lightcav. But I guess we are back up to that 20 number of elephant archers for Jordan.
Yeah, it seems like... Do you think so many Lightcav might even be a mistake and that he might need more elephant archers?
He doesn't have the gold. I can't say Jordan has made many mistakes in this game. Jordan and Viper have made very few mistakes as a whole in the entire series. These guys are playing on a finals level, and anyone who faces the winner of this series should be absolutely terrified at their level of prep. I wasn't expecting them to play this good in the quarterfinal today. Both of them. Not just Jordan, who came in maybe as the underdog. This is just incredible play. And the issue for Jordan is just gold income. And 3 relics just doesn't add up to enough gold to produce the elephant archers. As strong as the elephant archers may be, he might not be able to make them.
Running out.
Yeah.
Running out both of gold and of elephant archers. If you look at the queue, he doesn't have any more queued up.
He will lose his castle. He could start to lose his stables. He's added barracks now to maybe go for halbs, which is something that Viper's been doing. But you don't even have the resources for the halb upgrade at this point. So halb isn't really even an option for you.
Yeah, and Viper he's been making all 3 trash units this entire game.
Yep.
Jordan's only been making 2 of them. And I always feel like when you get to these situations, doing all 3 just gives you more options, and you can more quickly switch to deal with whatever your opponent's doing. If you need to tech into something this late, you can't afford it.
And if you think it's going to be a no gold game, you could actually start to switch into champion if you're Viper, which I don't think he has to because he's got some nice momentum, but that is normally the late game unit that you'd want, as it takes some time too. So I think there's no better time to click supplies and click man-at-arms and just think about it if you're Viper.
I think the Cavalier kind of fulfill that role right now because there aren't any halbs for
Yeah,
Jordan.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, and I mean, Light Cav have gotten a lot of value for Viper too because there's no halbs, right? And he's always had one ARB ball, even if it's tiny, just kind of sitting behind everything else, which has been really strong.
Just enough to deal with a few light cav.
Yeah. Jordan's not finished, guys. I mean, I know Viper brought himself out of this hole, but Jordan's not finished. He's got 88 on food still. He's still trying his absolute best. However, he is starting to lose production buildings, and he's losing his castles.
He lost the castle.
And he still is sub 20 elephant archers. And anytime Viper gets an opportunity, he's happy to toss away skirmishers to kill an elephant archer or two.
Jordan still feels like he's getting the map control and trying to come forward more. And, well, Jordan did say he hoped the viewers were around for a long time in that earlier game. It feels like he might be saying the same thing now.
Yeah.
If he has 100 vills on food.
It's a rough feeling.
It's just so hard to kill someone, even if you have the upper hand, when you can't touch their eco and they have spread out so much, and they even have extra villagers.
And, like, the win condition for Jordan was elephant archers like having Trebs. It was getting more relics. It was your unique techs. Those are your win conditions. I don't know what more you can really do. I mean, there's only 148 gold left that's mineable there for Viper. Apparently he's on gold. Where is he on gold? It says he's got villagers
He has
on gold.
one at the front of his base.
Maybe they're walking to... I don't even actually know where Viper's taking gold. Oh, they clicked the villagers there.
They're walking.
Okay, they're walking there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the only
He's got
gold that's left.
148 gold there.
Jordan, he did take out 2 Trebs a moment ago, and he could maybe even take out the third one, as Viper's still trying to take out Siege Workshops. He's going to take out the third one, so now Viper has no Trebs. And Viper also tried to raid there a moment ago at Jordan's eco, which he had expanded to the outer ring, and Jordan won't let him in. Jordan walls it off. Well played.
And that deer is still standing in Jordan's base, just watching everything behind those walls.
We haven't forgotten about you, dear. We haven't forgotten about you. I wonder if maybe, I mean, certainly you've got to still make Trebs if you're Viper, but I wonder if maybe
Absolutely.
Rams is an option for you. You don't want to lose your cav, but just some Rams onto the barracks here could be really helpful, because that would allow you to raise Jordan's economy there.
Just to get map control and force Jordan not to have such forward production buildings, too.
Yep.
All Viper wants a castle.
Wow, that's his last castle.
He's been saving that stone.
Yeah, he really believes that he can get away with this position because that is a gutsy castle. He will not place another castle in this game, regardless of how long it goes. Bold statement, I guess, when he's banking so many resources, but he pulls the skirms aside here again here, T-West, and Viper with this never say die attitude. He just always runs after those elephant archers, and Viper's got the Trebs. He should be able to just push Jordan's castle, and he's pushing Jordan's buildings, and Jordan just... He's got more eco, but he just doesn't have the units right now, and I feel gutted for the guy. He's played so amazing today, and he says, "Ja, ja, ja, Viper." He can't believe it. If you were near me, I'd slap you right now. 11.
Right out.
And Viper with the return laughter, and Jordan calls it. I mean, what a series, man. Again, I'm gutted.
What a game to end it on.
Jordan is such a respectful dude. These guys are best buds. They've been best buds for a decade, right? It's so lovely that our scene can see something like that, and we know what it means. It's just that's Jordan's best way of saying, I respect you, dude. Unbelievable. How many times was Viper dead in this series? Even in this game, it looked like he was going to die. And T West, as Viper does, Viper wins, and Viper will be in the semifinals.
And he holds on, and oh man, what a game from Jordan. Just throughout the entire series, he played great.
It was amazing
and then
today.
to end it here, Bengalis Britons, feels like Viper might have been thinking about this matchup and maybe figured out something, trying to be one step ahead just with that skirmisher and trash unit opening.
It was Jordan played amazing today, and I think that he beats every other player except for maybe the Viper. And this is not to say that Viper's going to win the whole thing. We don't know what type of shape Viper's going to bring, but Viper brought his best level today, right? There was no 80% game for Viper, except for, well, maybe game 2. The game 2 thing where he didn't make a lot of army, that was a bit weird, but he really played well, and Jordan tested him nonstop. I want to say congratulations to Jordan for this performance. Obviously, losing is going to be frustrating for him, but he cannot look at himself and say he didn't play his best. This just got to a point where maybe the Megalis just can't afford to do much. Guys, the Elephant Archers were so important to them, and the Elephant Archers were too expensive. Not wrong, but I believe it would now be a Gamer Legion semifinal. I guess it would have been regardless, but I believe it will be Viper Tato in one of those semifinals.
It will be.
Sick. Also, check this out. If you look at the Arbalest for Viper, he's got 9 of them. And those 9 Arbs, and I had seen him moving that little group around a lot, have 94 kills. That's crazy.
Where are they?
They're right by Viper's new castle. 9 Arbalest.
Oh, there they are.
Have 94 kills. I mean, that's a lot of kills. I know 1,100 kills is what Viper ended up having. Also, they were only a kill or 2 different in the total KD. But 100 kills for 9 units is crazy.
Yeah, that's 1,100 to 1,099. That's 1 kill apart for the 2 of them.
Yeah.
What an insane game. And well, that's what the Britons do, right? They try to keep their units alive and have a good KD. And usually you see the Britons with a much better KD than ahead by 1 kill, right? This is a tricky Civ matchup, I think, for them, but Viper figured it out.
Yeah, this is honestly like one moment away from Viper crumbling. And the previous game when Viper was down 2-1 was the exact same thing. Remember, the Jordan had the position on the hill. Jordan got the initial conversions. Viper started falling off. I don't know how he does it, but it was a great display from him. Excited to see more from Viper. What a series, man. Again, all the quarterfinals so far have delivered. We'll have 2 more to decide what happens and who moves on to the other semifinal. But this just has me so excited. Like, this is just, the level's way too high for the quarters.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna bring up the brackets right here, and we have not just GL players all playing each other, but also the former Tyrant clan and Baksh, right? It was Jordan, Baksh, Doubt, and Tato. Now Tato advancing past Yo, and it's gonna be Tato against Viper after we just had Viper Jordan. They all ended up in that same bracket together.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good old Tyrant days. Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit about the next sets. That's not going to be today, guys. It's been a long day. Thank God we're not doing them all the same day.
Today was longer than yesterday, and we had half the number of sets.
Well, it wasn't. Yesterday was still 9 hours. But 6.5 hours for 2 best-of-5s tells you how close the level is here in the quarters. Tomorrow we will have ACCM versus Leary. Also should be incredible. The level should also be extremely high. And then Hera versus Veleza, which is the same thing. I believe we start off the day with ACCM versus Leary, and then we move on then to Hera versus Veleza. The winners of those sets obviously will play in the semifinal, which will be on Saturday. We'll see both of those semifinals on the same day on Saturday, and then we will have the grand final on Sunday, all at the same time, 16 GMT, which is 11 a.m. Eastern. So T-West, yep. It was a pleasure, my friend. It was a pleasure to cast the set. It was a great set to cast.
It was an absolutely amazing set, and I hope the semifinals will be that good. I hope the quarterfinals tomorrow will be just as good. And also, ACCM taking on Leary. How good has ACCM been these past few months? Even getting out and traveling for lands too. I've been so happy for him to see he's able to do that.
Yeah, I honestly think that ACCM should, based on performances in Titans League, go in as a slight favorite against Leary. And I mean that. It does still feel a little abnormal to stay though. So we'll see if ACCM can bring that level. But yeah, I think that ACCM could absolutely end up in the finals. It could be like like Tato or Viper ACCM type final come Sunday because of that how good ACCM has looked.